I know you wanted me to stay, but I can't ignore the crazy visions of me in LA. And I heard that there's a special place where boys and girls can all be queens every single day. I'm having wicked dreams of leaving Tennessee. If Santa Monica, I swear it's calling me. Won't make my mama proud, it's gonna cause a scene. She sees her baby girl, I know she's gonna scream. God, what have you done? You're a pink pony girl, and you dance at the club. Oh mama, I'm just having fun on the stage in my heels. It's where I belong, down at the Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing down in West Hollywood. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Pink Pony Club. I'm up and jaws are on the floor. Lovers in the bathroom and a light outside the door. Black lights and a mirror disco ball. Every night's another reason why I left it all. I think my wicked dreams are here from Tennessee or Santa Monica. You've been too good to me. Won't make my mama proud, it's gonna cause a scene. She sees her baby girl, I know she's gonna scream. God, what have you done? You're a pink pony girl, and you dance at the club. Oh mama, I'm just having fun on the stage in my heels. It's where I belong, down at the Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing down in West Hollywood. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Pink Pony Club. Don't think I've left you all behind. Still love you, and Tennessee are always on my mind. And mama, every Saturday I can hear your southern drawl 1,000 miles away, saying, God, what have you done? You're a pink pony girl, and you dance at the club. Oh mama, I'm just having fun on the stage in my heels.
Queen
So
vibe.
I belong, down at the Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. I'm gonna keep on dancing down in West Hollywood. I'm gonna keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Pink Pony Club.
Live from the funk, it's hotter than Texas. Right from the jump, yeah, you got my attention. You give me that stuff, and it's such a blessing. You and I in the light, alone in this heaven. Oh, baby, oh, baby. Say you will, say you might. If this is wrong, then nothing's right. Oh, baby, oh, baby. See yourself like I do. Oh, tonight looks good on you. Hey, mysterious. We don't have to act so seriously, like nobody's watching, only us. Baby, if it feels good, then it must be bad how much I want you. Baby, if it feels good, then it must be bad how much I want you. More than I choose to, I'm falling in love, in love I ain't used to. You give me that stuff, no I can't refuse you. You and I in the light, it's alright, yeah. Oh baby, oh baby. Say you will, say you might. If this is wrong, then nothing's right. Oh baby, it's alright. Oh baby, see yourself like I do. Oh, tonight looks good on you. Hey, mysterious. We don't have to act so seriously, like nobody's watching, only us. Baby, if it feels good, then it must be bad how much I want you. Baby, if it feels good, then it must be. Like nobody's watching, only us. Baby, if it feels good, then it must be that how much I want you. Baby, if it feels. I could cook an egg on you. Late night game time, coffee on the stove. Your sweet ice cream, but you could use a flake or two. Blue bubble gum twist around your tongue. I don't want you to get lost. I don't want you to go broke. I want you.
Good morning, everybody. Let's get it going.
Excuse me, green tea, music for a sushi restaurant.
Good morning, y'all. This is a Harry Styles song. It's like my favorite Harry Styles song. Yes. It's so good. I feel like it gets me. It always gets me in a good morning mood. Ooh. Ready? My first AM stream, it's weird. I know, it's weird.
Just a taste.
The music video is great too. Slattern, thank you for the 30 months. iTurbo, thank you for the 31 months. Bear Cillium, thank you for the 19 months. Ready? I love this track. What the fuck? It's so good. It's so good. I think she's well rested. Yeah, you can tell I'm well rested because I'm wearing this hat and these glasses. Because I am feeling fresh. I am feeling so fresh. Love these streams because usually I can't catch the night ones. Yeah. No, I like to change it up. We get some of the morning crowd in here who can't make it in. Who can't make it into the evening because it's simply too late. Have you listened to Renee Rapp's new song yet? I have not. Wait. Okay, no, this is gonna sound weird. I haven't listened to her new song, but I've seen the lyrics. I know that sounds strange. And this is why we should have 2 streams a day. You know what? Totally not a bot. You're so right. We should just stream 24 hours a day. We should be like Emily CC, where she's never not streaming. I'm just kidding. I literally could never do that. I don't like streaming enough. I don't think I do. To stream 24 hours a day for 3 years. Ain't no way. I was reading a piece on her in in the Washington Post. Because rightfully so, people who they don't really know much about Twitch, but then they find out about someone like her, where they're like, hold on a second. You've been Truman Showed for 3 years of your own accord. And she's like, yeah. Have you seen the one about the show? Yes, I think that's the one. Are you're talking about Renee? I don't know why. Why did I see something on Twitter? I don't know. I see too many things. Honestly, it's great that Twitter is breaking because I can't use it then. Right, because didn't she shade sex lives of college girls? She's like, after I left, took my sex life with me, now the show ain't fucking, or something like that.
So close to 2 years, Alien PLS.
Whoa, where the why did that suddenly work? And why did I hear that? Okay. I'm sorry. Excuse me? That was so fucking random. First of all, J Baby, thank you for the 23 months. I have no idea how that just did that. Because first of all, my TTS has just not worked for a long time. And then my alerts just stopped working. And then suddenly both of them just worked and I haven't done anything since I tried to fix it yesterday and it didn't work. What the hell? That actually jump scared me. Me too. Me too. I was like, what the fuck? I don't understand.
Women in STEM.
Okay, I guess it's double Moon side boob thing for the 18 months. Okay, that worked too, except it's weird double. So like what happens if I turn off? You guys, I don't understand things. Anonymous, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Let me tell you why I'm losing my mind. Let me tell you why I'm losing my mind. Because I don't understand it. Yay, I've never seen notifications live. Like, that makes me so sad that people are going, wow, this is the first time I've seen your notifications. Because I try to fix them over and over and fucking over again. And then I give up. I go, I don't know. I mean, I don't expect anyone to subscribe to the channel because this shit does not work. And then suddenly... Also, why did I start typing Renee Rapp's name into Chatterino? Okay. And then suddenly it works. And then I have no explanation for it. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. Did you restart your computer? Fuck no. Sis, you good? No! Hassan always says if you don't go live at the same exact time every day, the noties don't pop up. They're like, no, that can't be no, that's not true. Same, I'm usually in the YouTube Quantiverse. My first time I could get a notification. I don't understand. I have no idea. The reason that it's double is probably because I have tried to fix these alerts so many times that I just have like multiple alert boxes. Probably. Okay, I don't know. That's very strange. Come cry. Ay, ay, ay. 100% Twitch is a broken plot. Twitch fucking stupid. Stupid. Okay, I guess shit is working now. Your boy Mills, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I don't know. I guess it decided to work and then maybe it'll break again. Who knows? Why did it double? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Caroline is so smart for fixing it all. Yes, totally. I am so smart for fixing it all. If it's fixed, it's me. If it's not fixed, it's not me. It's kind of the Donald Trump way. If it's working, it's because I fixed it. If it's not working, it's because something out of my control. Something out of my control happened. And there ain't nothing I can do about it. Farley was so funny this morning. So Will and I are convinced that he has a special, okay, this is going to sound really weird, but that he really loves Asian women. White dog and Asian women. Classic. But especially like, I think because my sisters are here too. And he goes, oh, Asian women who look extra like mom. He's a libertarian. We know this. Yes, he's a libertarian. But like one time Marsh was watching Farley and he was so sad and freaking out. And it wasn't until Marsh's ex at the time, who was Asian, came to Marsh's house and Farley like started crying. He was so happy to see her and he ran. It's almost like he thought it was mother. He thought it was mother. So this morning, like, he got up and he went into my sister's room and was like, I don't understand. There's two mothers in here, but then mother's also there. There's a lot of mother. Yeah, Farley's racist. He is. He's a fetishizing racist piece of shit. No. All Asians look alike. No, it's just Asian women remind him of mommy. Is he a creep? He's not a creep. No. He's also snoozing again. I told him to go back to bed. Does he also think Ray is you? No, that's Dan Clancy. Or wait, who was it? Oh, it was, Fan. I swear to God, Dan Clancy has confused me with multiple Asian females streamers. He called you Fan. There was like one other thing. What was the other thing? there was definitely one other incident. I can't remember. No way. Oh way. Oh indeed. Wow, you too. Wow, you too. Some guy at the Streamer Awards. Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Someone at the Streamer Awards who I've known for a long time confused me and Ray. Told me he really liked the episode when when Austin and I were in the tub together, and I went, "Oh, you think I'm Valkyrie?" Some soap salesman in New Orleans sees you and still thinks you're Ray. Oh yeah, I wonder if he's been keeping up with the career. You know? Wonder if he's been checking in. And he's like, man, I can't believe... And like he actually has been searching Valkyrie though, and is like, holy shit, I cannot believe I was talking to a superstar. He's like, wow, I met her. Starting to recover from having nausea for 3 weeks. Oh, that's so gnarly. I'm glad you're recovering. I hate nausea so much. Y'all, I saw this last night that Titan, the Ocean Gate disaster, is coming to Netflix on June 11th. Let's watch the trailer. Also, last night we were chatting, and I said to my sisters, well, Will was like, my dad invented air cargo travel. And I said, yeah, if his dad had not testified against the company, Will would have been a billionaire. And Will was like, yeah, I probably would be dead though, because I was a pretty reckless person. If I had that much money and nothing to work for, I absolutely would have died. And Cece goes, would you have gotten on the submersible? She's like, would you have died because you would have gotten on the Titanic submersible? And Will was like, probably. Anyway.
There was no way of knowing when Titan was going to fail, but it was a mathematical certainty that it would fail.
Wild.
Stockton saw an opportunity.
Like, saying the words, it was a mathematical certainty it was going to fail, which, yeah, okay, we all, like, everyone knew it was so stupid, but just the reminder that there was no way it was not going to fail, and yet they still put a group of people in it and went down to the Titanic.
Opportunity to restart tourist visits to Titanic.
Stockton fully believed in what he was doing and that it would work.
He wanted fame. To fuel his ego, fame.
I have no desire to die. I understand this kind of risk.
I thought Stockton was a borderline psychopath.
Bro, I'm sorry, but I keep laughing. I keep laughing at the people who are in the documentary every time, just being like, yeah, this guy fucking sucked. Yeah, this guy, Stockton, he was the worst. There's like 100 different people who pop up in this documentary that are all like, oh my God, yeah, no, that guy was the absolute fucking worst.
How do you manage a person like that who owns the company?
This is one of the safest things I will ever do.
nobody spoke up, he would ruin somebody's life.
Stockton said Bonnie is going to be our next lead pilot. Are you nuts? I'm an accountant.
No one's dying under my watch.
Everyone died on his watch.
Period.
Titan, the Ocean Gate disaster. Yeah, man. What? It really is one of those things where you look at the effects of someone's with an ego that knew no bounds. This is such slop, but I need it. I mean, it's classic Netflix doc. But I don't know. I mean, how for years before this happened, I had a classic rant my family heard 1,000 times from me about how movie to touchscreen remotes rather than analog buttons and radars like ships from the 70s would absolutely result in electrical failure, and lo and behold, this shit happens. Yeah, just the fact that so many people are like, there's no way that this wasn't going to be a fucking disaster, and yet it still happened. That was such a crazy time. Oh my god, do you guys remember that on the stream? I think I was like live when the news first broke that this submersible was missing, and we were like, what is this? We kind of tuned in, and then suddenly, of course, because when you have like a group of billionaires who go in a tiny ass submersible underwater to go look at the Titanic and it disappears, the whole world pays attention. And people were just locked in on, I don't remember what we were calling it, submersible watch. The oxygen level countdown. Yeah, remember that? They had an oxygen level countdown. Oh, simpler times. Was that before October 7th? Because if it was, then indeed it was simpler times. Yeah, that was summer of 2023. Okay, that was a long time ago. Yeah, and then they had basically exploded pretty immediately, and so by the time like the world tuned in, it was over. Like it was. People were like, we're gonna find them, and it was like, no way. People were spreading rumors. People were going nuts online about radar picking up banging noises. Yeah, I remember they were like, they're trying to get out. There's banging noises in the submersible, and then you had experts being like, yeah, most likely they're not alive. The audio that the Navy heard, yes. Yeah. How many of you chatters in here weren't even alive for the Titan sub? It's like bro, we were also, my sister, Cece, sometimes she makes me feel so old. Apparently she asked my sister Liz's boyfriend what 9/11 was like. Because he was in high school when it happened. She was like, oh my God, you were alive for 9/11? It's like, yeah, so was I. What? But anyway, some of you in here were not alive for the Titan sub, but also do not put in chat that you are 5 years old. Please. Please don't raise your hand and be like, yeah, I'm only one, and I wasn't alive when the Titan sub happened, so I don't remember it. Being in high school during 9/11 is crazy, though. Yeah, I guess that is true. Because I was in elementary school, and so it didn't really mean anything at the time. I didn't really get it. Okay. A-rate-T. Oh, let's watch this clip of Paul Mescal says comparing his gay romance, The History of Sound, to Brokeback Mountain is lazy and frustrating, which is so true. It's like, oh, gay movie? another gay movie, they must be the same.
I personally don't see the parallels at all between Brokeback Mountain, other than the fact that we spend a little bit of time in a tent. But each to their own, in terms of how you want. But I do think that there's a bigger question there in the fact that it draws your attention to why do I think that it's not that film? Because that film, to me, when I look at Brokeback Mountain, it's a beautiful film, but it is dealing with the idea of repression.
Yes.
And this film is fundamentally pointed in the opposite direction. So I think, to be honest,
I Can't Quit You.
find those comparisons relatively lazy and frustrating. But for the most part, I think that relationship that I have to the film is born out of the fact that it's a celebration of these two men's love, not a kind of film about their repressed relationship with their sexuality.
Yeah, I think this is so spot on. So The History of Sound is a film that premiered at Cannes Film Festival. It stars Josh O'Connor and Paul Mescal, who they are two guys who meet in 1917. They're attending the Boston Music Conservatory, and after World War I, they traveled together recording folk songs about their countrymen in the summer of 2020. It like so has nothing to do with Brokeback Mountain, and Brokeback Mountain came out more than 20 years ago, and yet there's still the comparisons, which should tell you, one, the state of certain, not all, but some film journalism, where they're like, hey, it's like Brokeback Mountain, huh? And Paul Mescal's like, no. No, it's not. But also just how gay cinema has certainly widened since Brokeback Mountain, but there's still kind of this, of course, dominant cultural mentality around gay films where there's still not a ton of like prominent gay films, and then also they will be compared to one another. Red, White, and Royal Blue is just like Brokeback Mountain. Indeed. Queer media? Yes, I am in queer media. But yeah, Brokeback Mountain is about two gay cowboys who are repressed. They are married to women, and they are trying to suppress their urges for one another, because being gay, nay. And so it's a very, very complicated relationship between the two of them. And it was a major turning point in queer cinema in the mainstream, because this was a film that was directed by Ang Lee. It was nominated for a bunch of Oscars. It should have fucking won, but homophobia was a factor in motherfucking Crash beating it for Best Picture. But it did very well commercially. It grossed almost $200 million. It had like a $13 million budget. So it was a big moment in queer cinema, but it's something where you are being a bad film journalist if every time a gay film comes out, you go, Brokeback Mountain 2? Like, so how does this compare to Brokeback Mountain? Let's not do that every time. Okay, let's look at the film in and of itself and not have to compare it to Brokeback Mountain, which a lot of journalists, I guess, look at as the gay film. They're like, oh, Brokeback Mountain, the one and only gay film. So much media journalism is comparing to existing projects instead of actually just reporting on the thing, and it's so annoying, especially when it just comes across as idiotic when you're talking about a film that has nothing to do with another film, aside from the fact that there's two people who are gay. The gay film singular. The gay film singular. All right. Last little thing, and then we'll get into taking a look at some stuff. I saw this tweet and I wanted to talk about it because I also agree with this. Does chat recommend Brokeback Mountain? Holy shit, yes. It is the singular gay film. No, it's amazing. You will cry. It also is one of Heath Ledger's few works because he died so young, and he didn't have a chance at a long career. It's so beautiful. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. If it's free on YouTube again, even though I know Will Neff did it for film class, I will definitely watch that for film class if it's ever available online. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah. Here, I'll just watch 2 seconds of it. This movie broke me. He cries every time.
Come on.
The soundtrack.
Brokeback Mountain is a tremendous film.
Not the song.
Come on.
Honestly, Will very rarely cries at movies. Brokeback Mountain makes him blubber like a little baby because it's just so gorgeous and heartbreaking. Come on, we can get through this. Favorite Heath Ledger movies: A Knight's Tale. Great film. So good. Anyway, yes, chatter. We do recommend. We do. Just prepare yourself. Will made me cry when he did his speech after that movie. That's the power of film, baby. That is how important and powerful film can be. That it doesn't matter how many times you've seen it. There's such emotional resonance, and it can deepen your empathy and your connection, your human connection. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, movies can do a lot of different things. They can make you laugh, they can make you cry, they can make you think, they can make you feel. And it's, it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. Okay, this is the tweet I wanted to talk about. I don't understand why private individuals or media personalities feel the need to tweet official-sounding condemnations in response to news events. You're not the president's spokesman or a Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yeah, so I agree with this. There is this weird kind of impulse where a lot of people will tweet, you know what, like the official sounding tweet of a politician, etc. is. And you'll have like normal people, just private individuals or people who work in media who will tweet this kind of stuff. Like everyone's a micro celebrity. You know what I think it is too? I think it's everyone. I think it's kind of like this sense of you, if you are online, you are your PR, That's low-key incredibly funny, where it's like a lot of times you don't need to say anything. The reason that politicians put out a tweet for all this shit is because there's an expectation to. But there is the option to not say something. But more and more, and I will admit, like I have definitely been guilty of this in the past, And then I got to a point where I went, why am I doing this? Who do I think I am? Truly, why do I think I am some thought leader? Do I think I'm some thought leader here where like everything that happens, I need to release my official thoughts? It's like, I condemn, or I believe that such and such and such, and yet yada, yada, yada. Like, I have definitely done this in the past and then realized that there was something kind of narcissistic about it. The feeling of, I need to tweet out something official in condemnation of X event. The hat and shirt combo is fire AF. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I'm a thought leader, but THOT thought. Not THOUGH. Hold on. My brain. THOUGHT. Not THOUGHT, but THOT. That's the kind of thought leader I am. I think it's just this very human nature that people feel the need to make sure people know your feelings, like it's of large importance. So I think there's a couple things going on. I think it's I do think there is the main character element of it where people who have a platform will be like, oh, I am a moral leader, I am a thought leader, etc. I need to put I need to put a statement out because people are looking to me, when it's like, not really. There's also the everyone worrying about making sure that they come out of things looking good. So they do their own PR, and PR is like, oh, you should put out a statement where you condemn XYZ so that no one can accuse you of blank. Do you think it's also broader convo and feeling disconnected in general and people wanting to feel seen and feel important, or just narcissism? I mean, look, I want to explain the difference between like just saying what you think online and then doing the official sounding condemnation. You know what I mean by that? Just like copy paste, look at any politicians, like what someone will post on their account, and then you will see that format, but it's like some random person with 50,000 followers who considers themselves to be a media personality, you know? Like, they're not in any official capacity, and yet they are tweeting in a very official sounding way. And I do think that leans into self-centering, narcissism, and also wanting to come out of every situation looking very shiny. You know? But it is this weird thing. And like, as I said, in the past, I definitely have done this before. And then I went, why am I doing this? Who do I think I am? Why do I feel like I have to put a statement out? Like, I am just me. I don't need to release a statement on this event that happened. And I think the reminder that you don't have to say anything is a very important reminder, okay? And I think it's one that a lot of us forget, where things are happening all the time. And there's a lot of people who feel the need to say something when actually you don't need to say something. You don't need to say something every time. And the other thing too is anybody who is looking at your output and going, well, that's what looking at your input, social input, and then being like, you have to have the equivalent output. That's stupid. That's dumb. Even if you're online all the time, even if you're on Twitter all the time, etc., there is not this requirement to then say something every time. But you know how people will do the like, oh yeah, well, I searched and I didn't see you say anything on that event. whatever, man. Unless you are a person who does that to others, where it's like, interesting, I noticed that you didn't release a tweet statement from this incident that happened 4 years ago. Huh. Maybe it's because you're a terrorist. I am very smart. I'm very smart. I'm very smart. Some internet celebs get harassed constantly if they don't condemn everything. And I'm here to say we need to stop. I'm here to say it's got to stop. What if it's about genocide? That's not a news. Like, let me be clear. That's not the specific type of news event that I'm talking about, okay? Yes, condemn genocide. Absolutely. What I'm talking about is let's say what happened yesterday, where you saw all of these official sounding condemnations from people who are not in an official capacity. And I think it's a very strange thing that we see all the time now, where there's this need to be like, well, I put a statement out. Well, I'm protected because I, like, every single time there's any violence, I have made sure to put out a statement condemning said violence. Your silence on Austin terrorizing LA real estate markets is deafening. You know, I searched your tweets and I didn't see anything. I didn't see a condemnation. I will never forget people trying to cancel Alan Rickman for not calling out J.K. Rowling. He'd been dead for years. Yeah, he'd been dead. But people will do that where they will take proof. They will take a lack of a tweet as proof of being on the side, on the bad side, right? So for every single thing that has ever happened, if you have not said anything, then it means then that is like evidence. You know, a lot of people too have done that about Palestine, where it's like, when I started really heavily talking about Palestine after 10/7, people would try to look at my Twitter and go, oh, I noticed you didn't talk about Palestine. Like, you talked more about Palestine after 10/7 than before 10/7. And it's like, yeah, no shit. No shit, I talked more about Palestine after 10/7. I wonder why. I wonder why that is. And it's this idea that you just learned about something if you start talking about something much more heavily. And it's like, oh, well, you didn't used to talk about this thing nonstop until this thing happened. And now you're talking about this thing nonstop. So clearly you just learned about it. Now, there are some people who definitely just learned about things. And we know this because they literally own up to it. Brianna Wu, for instance, when she said, I just learned about what programs are, she'll post that stuff on Maine and be like, I just learned this thing. And then she will act like an expert on it. But she's the exception of what I'm talking about, where generally this idea that if on your social media, you do not have evidence of like talking about every single thing all the time, then when you do talk about it, it means that you don't get to talk about it because you're now just talking about it. Caroline has never condemned the Tekken 8 update. Suspicious. I don't even know what the hell that is. Yeah. Oh, you're leftist. Post about every single. I noticed that you have not posted about every single thing that leftists say that they are against. So clearly, you're not a leftist. It's such a toxic culture and can be found in leftist circles. Yes. A hundo P. People would like to believe you can learn and get educated so they can continue to believe they can change their opinions and validate. You can't get educated so they can continue to believe they can't change their opinions and validate their unmistaken beliefs. Yeah. They're like, there is just nuance is dead. Nuance is dead. Oh, you're a leftist? Name every quote by Marx ever. Ever. Okay, let's look at this insane piece in the New York Times about Miss Rachel. Now, Miss Rachel, who is an angel in human form, has been posting a lot about the children of Gaza, who she calls little ones because they're children, because they are little ones. And she is trying to use her platform to humanize Palestinian children, because you would think that just by the fact of being children that you wouldn't need to humanize them. But unfortunately, there are some real sick fucks out there who think that Palestinian children are inherently evil because they're Palestinian. So the New York Times published this ridiculous piece. Okay, like truly, I would say bordering, if not just journalistic malpractice, where they were posting sources like Stop Anti-Semitism as if these were valid sources. And let me be clear that in the practice of journalism, you as a reputable source, you don't just post any fucking person's quote or any source as if it is valid, okay? That's what like the Daily Mail and the New York Post and these rags are known for. But a publication like the New York Times has a higher standard where you are not just posting quotes from any source just blankly without any like without any kind of sorting through it and going, yeah, this is clearly not a legitimate source, so we're not going to use this. Or like somewhere in the piece making sure to mention that it is not a reputable source. Okay, so anyway, the Defector wrote a great piece on this. This is by Samer Khalaf. The New York Times really asked Miss Rachel if she is paid by Hamas. The house style of the New York Times is severely outdated. Depending on the topic, the newspaper's purportedly impartial tone reads as smug, self-amused, and deeply lazy. The results are disastrous when applied to a recent article which sincerely considers the idea that Rachel Griffin Accurso, the popular children's entertainer known as Miss Rachel, might be financially compensated by Hamas. Griffin Accurso's grave sin is that she wants Israel to stop starving and killing Palestinian children in Gaza. For this, she has become the target of a pro-Israel contingent so committed to suppressing any support for Palestine that they have abandoned basic human dignity. Griffin Accurso has spoken out on the crisis for a while on her Instagram page, and in the past week, she posted a number of statements that promote organizations which aid children suffering from violence and hunger, including malnutrition in Gaza and famine in Sudan. Griffin Accurso also recently shared photos of her visit with a 3-year-old double amputee from Gaza, as well as clips of an hour-long interview published by ZTO on Monday. In the conversation with Mehdi Hassan, she explained what motivated her advocacy for Palestinian children. It's sad that people try to make it controversial when you speak out for children that are facing immeasurable suffering. The largest cohort of child amputees in modern history, that acronym for a child who has no surviving relatives, I think it should be controversial to not say anything. When I wrote about Miss Rachel last month, it seemed straightforwardly appalling that anyone would twist her compassion for children into something sinister. Mark Tracy's article on the matter, published on Wednesday, takes it as a subject worth serious inquiry, which is ridiculous. It is ridiculous for a publication with the weight of the New York Times to treat seriously the condemnations of someone like Miss Rachel. It's insane. Kagger 2, thank you for the 26 months. Oh, failed FD manual. Oh. Failed raid. Oh my God. FD signifier taking, you know what? That is so something that I would do. I feel so connected to him in that I frequently fuck up. Wait, is there a Caroline Kwan? Hold on a second. Wait a moment. Caroline Q-U-A-N. Who is this? Carol Kwan? aka Quantum ASMR.
Failed FD manual Ray, love you all.
Oh my God, what? There's a Carol Kwan, Q-U-A-N, who does Quantum ASM. What the fuck is Quantum ASMR? Truly, what is Quantum ASMR? Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know, but it sounds like something that would put me immediately to sleep. Any Hoosers? Well, what's up, guys? Welcome in. FD, thank you for the attempted raid. No worries. I thought I was going to have to go do a stealth assassination mission to the other Caroline Kwan, because it's like Body Snatchers, where there can only be one of us. There can only be one. But hi, I am Caroline Kwan, K-W-A-N. And welcome. If this is your first time, if you are manually rating over. Has FD accidentally raided a chatter instead of banning them? Yes. As soon as he's done that, then we are kin. As soon as he raids a chatter in an attempt to ban them, then we are one and the same. Yeah. I've been known to have done that before. So anywho, so good morning, everybody. We're doing a morning stream because my sisters are in town. Yeah, you know how you gotta just raid the haters. You gotta raid the haters. Coconut, thank you for the 22 months. My sisters are in town, and we are gonna go do stuff later, so I'm just squeezing in a morning stream to say hey to y'all, to cover some stuff that's going on. Raiding the haters is crazy. I mean, I don't mean to. Let me be clear. I don't mean to raid the haters. It just happens. Kaga2, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Appreciate ya. Appreciate ya. Okay, so we're reading this piece in The Defector about the bullshit New York Times, the failing New York Times, who asked if Miss Rachel is paid by Hamas. If Miss Rachel, just to be clear, if Miss Rachel is Hamas, we are all Hamas. Like, we are all Hamas. If Miss Rachel is Hamas. Okay, these alerts, I don't understand. They're so cooked. I don't understand. It makes no sense. Delayed. No idea why. They weren't delayed before. Now they're delayed. I cannot explain. I cannot explain. That one hit like 5 minutes later. I don't understand. I'm not even going to try to understand. Okay, so anywho, the New York Times publishes bullshit article with the headline, "Why Tot Celebrity Miss Rachel Waded into the Gaza Debate." First of all, it's not a debate. It's fucking genocide, okay? You're not wading into the Gaza debate. You are taking a stance against genocide. New York Times. And it suggests that the debate here is weighing the prompt that Israel should stop bombing Palestinian children. This is like some Jubilee ass shit. A Jubilee video about wading into the Gaza debate. The switch from point to counterpoint is so dizzying that you wonder if Tracy realizes that he comes off sounding like he finds some merit in killing kids. It's so clear how we should treat children to help them thrive and grow into happy, healthy adults. So this is a part from the piece. Accurso said, responding to questions over email. We need to stop failing them, she said, adding that in particular, no children should have their crucial brain development ages of 0 to 3 interrupted by trauma. Right. But Accurso's advocacy on behalf of Gazan children has led some supporters of Israel to accuse her of treating Palestinian children with more sympathy than Israeli ones, including those abducted in Hamas's attack of October 7th, 2023. Nowhere in this article will you find the reported death toll of over 15,000 Palestinian children and counting. Why do we think that is? Why do we think that the New York Times, in a piece where they are trying to legitimize accusations that Miss Rachel is evil, why do we think the New York Times would not include the death toll of over 15,000 Palestinian children? And I want to point out this quote here too. I think Ryan Grimm posted it. Miss Rachel seems to be someone who's really, really good-hearted, but in the context of everything that's going on, she says, I care about all children, but really she's talking about the children of Gaza. Stacey Hackner, a teacher at a London Shader, a school of Jewish instruction, said in an interview, that has left a lot of Jewish parents feeling quite isolated. So let's pause. And I think there is, okay, this is obviously very frustrating. Leche, thank you for the prime. It's like, here's a string. Okay. This is how I envision it. Here's a string and the string has been cut. It's disconnected. And I want to connect the two pieces of the string again. Stacy and all others like Stacy, why do you think that Miss Rachel, who does love all children, is having to give extra attention to the children of Gaza? Are Israeli children, are Jewish children, have 15,000 of them been murdered in the last 19 months? No. Is the largest cohort of child amputees currently in Israel? No. So do you think that giving equal treatment right now with using her platform to raise awareness is appropriate, considering the conditions specifically for children and the death toll for children in a place like Gaza? Please connect these strings. Please make them one again. It's all lives matter all over again. It is, but especially in the context of we're talking about children and you have adults being like, well, why is she caring about gods and children so much? It's not fair. What are we supposed to do about that? Hey, I got an idea. Maybe you should do what Miss Rachel is doing, which is calling upon the Israeli government to stop murdering thousands of children. Like, this is also just like can you connect the two pieces of string? I don't know. These people are beyond redemption. Yeah, feels like that. But the announcement was less popular among some Jewish and Israeli fans who saw Miss Rachel's advocacy for children in Gaza as taking sides in the 7-month-old Israel-Hamas war. It's not a war, it's a genocide. When I saw her fundraiser, it really triggered me. Moran Gold, a Jewish mother and multilingual speech therapist who teaches language and reading to young children, told the Jewish Telegraphic Agency. Why, Moran? Why did that trigger you? Why does a fundraiser for Gazan children trigger you? What do you have to do with this? More like moron. Yeah, more like moron. When was this article published? It was published last week. This is, to me, this is irredeemable. Can you imagine being an adult? Imagine being a full-ass adult. A full-ass adult. And seeing a fundraiser for children in Gaza who do not have food, who have been bombed nonstop for 19 fucking months, who are the largest group of child amputees, and going, well, I'm really triggered. Well, I am not comfortable with this fundraiser because it should be all about me, a 54-year-old adult baby. I'm a 54-year-old adult baby, and I cannot believe that Miss Rachel is trying to help children. What about me, a 54-year-old adult baby? The only way you're like this is if you don't see Palestinian children as human beings. Yes, bingo, precisely. There is no other way around it. The only way you act like this about children is when you do not see those children as human beings. And it is so hard to comprehend because it's evil as fuck. Like, it's evil as fuck to view any group of people not as human beings. But when you're talking about babies, okay? When you're talking about babies, it's especially evil as fuck because there's no hope for you. There is no hope for you to have any redemption, to have any type of soul when you can't even view a baby as worthy of life. That is so fucked. The lowest depths of depravity, indeed. When you play a part in endangering the lives of babies, you're fucking evil. Like, you are a cartoon villain. Okay. And one thing I want to point out with the New York Times, it's important to understand that when they put stuff in like this, the fact that there is no counter with facts, the fact that they don't then add in, however, 15,000 children have been murdered in Israel in the last 19 months, like putting in extra context to identify why someone like moron is insane for being upset about a fundraiser for children in Gaza. Like this, okay, what pisses me off is when journalism tries to present itself as unbiased, as it's just reporting the facts, but it's not. It's not reporting the facts. Is it worth saying that Hamas has contributed to provoking Israel to bombing Palestinian kids? I'm confused as to why nobody has fundraised for Hamas directly, genuinely. Is it because they're so demonized? Wait, what? I'm a little confused. Okay. Wait, I'm kind of confused because the first part has me being like, no, this is Israel's fault. Let's not get it twisted. But then the second part, dumb. Okay, that's no worries. There were just, I'm used to certain types of chatters in here, and I got two different tones in the questions that were asked in that statement. So are you aware? I don't know if, like, can I be so for real? This chatter might be the first chatter that has mixed multiple different points of view in the first chat message. Two of which nobody has ever thought of ever. All right. Anyway. Okay. What was I looking at? I was looking at this piece. Yes. Here's something you won't find in this New York Times article. The name of anyone in Stop Anti-Semitism, a public irritant who I need everybody to understand. Stop Anti-Semitism is the equivalent of a libs of TikTok. It's hard to say who is worse. I don't think it's even worth being like, who's worse, because they're both fucking evil. But I need people to understand that's what this account is. So if you have been led astray in believing that they are a legitimate advocacy group, that anything about them is legitimate, no, not at all. She was at January 6th. They don't care. They are not an advocacy group against anti-Semitism. They are an individual psychopath. It's like one woman who, yes, lives on Long Island or something like that, who is of the level of a libs of TikTok in her insanity. Okay, so please understand that this is not even a group. This is an individual woman. Her name is Leora Reznichenko. She spoke at a U.S. House committee in 2024. Her main activity consists of brigading private citizens and trying to get them fired from their jobs while she hides her own identifying information. She has a focus on targeting any criticism of Israel. So that's what Libs of TikTok loves to do, where they love to dox. They love to call upon their supporters to go forth and like murder people who are protesting against children being murdered. So that's her whole thing, okay? That's why I keep comparing her to a Libs of TikTok, because they are both individual women. They are psychopathically evil, and their main MO is brigading private citizens, is like trying to dox individuals and send their psychopathic followers after them. And they're stochastic terror. Yes. They now work with the worst people on the internet too. Yes. Stop Anti-Semitism is supported in part by the Adam and Gilla Milstein Family Foundation. Tracy refers to the organization, though not by name, as well as partially funded by the Morona Leadership Foundation, which reportedly paid her $125,000 and gave her organization approximately $270,000. To make it abundantly clear, Reznichenko does not provide any evidence that Miss Rachel is funded by Hamas, either on her own website or to Tracy, who's the article of the journalist who wrote the New York Times piece. The reporter's manufactured conflict primarily hinges on some Zionist crackpot with a Twitter account and an ongoing defamation lawsuit against her, and yet she receives the benefit of anonymity as well as a helpful ally. Accurso's activism has divided Jewish parents distraught by the relative dearth of posts about Israeli children, with whom many Jews worldwide feel a powerful connection, Tracy wrote. If I were his editor, I'd ask what this means. Relative dearth, a powerful connection, and this is unique somehow? In another paragraph, Tracy wrote of Griffin Accurso, she did not dispute that she has posted more frequently about Gazan children. Why would she dispute it? Why would she... Why would she dispute? And why should she not post more frequently about Gazan children, you fucking psychos? If the article's intent was to let the facts speak for themselves, it forgot to invite them. Instead, Tracy leveraged the full weight of his employer, America's paper of record, to ask an entertainer who sings with Elmo about how to go to school if she would care to comment about receiving money from Hamas. Nasty work. Very nasty work. And all these fucking people, they need to be held accountable, okay? Look, not that I think those in the media, those in the political class are going to face the consequences that they should. But man, we can try. We can try and hold all of these people accountable. Okay? Call out their bullshit. Do not allow a piece like this in the New York Times because of the weight of the New York Times name to slip by. the piece about Miss Rachel being Hamas. I mean, just on the surface, it's insane. Miss Rachel's more rich than Hamas. That's how do these people call themselves journalists? Yeah. Miss Rachel, who is like the biggest children's entertainer in the world, who's very wealthy, doesn't need money from Hamas. And there's also just the looking at the accusation that if you say stop killing and starving children to death, then you are being paid by this group. Like, that is not something that you can just say on your own, because these psychos who cry about this stuff, because they would never say stop starving and bombing Palestinian children, they're so warped that anybody who does, they're like, you're being paid. Obviously, you're Hamas. Obviously, you're part of this militant group, because this is not something that you would just be saying on your own. Really? Because actually, yeah, that's a very normal human thing. It's actually an indication that you are a normal human being to be like, stop bombing and starving children. Hello. Hamas famously has lots of money to fund YouTubers. Yeah, if you're not getting money from Hamas, honestly, you were kind of a sucker. kind of missing out, because they're handing it out like it's nothing. Okay, let's take a look. Next, what do we have here? What do we got? Let's look at this story here about Trump and Harvard. Everybody do a deep breath. Breathe in. For real, thank you. Sometimes you just have to remember to take a breath. For the love of God, can you please tell me what lip gloss this is? Dude, it's e.l.f. It costs like a couple bucks. It's Glow Reviver lip oil. I'm very big on the lip oils. There you go. I got you. Okay. Whew, especially when we read something or when we're listening to something and it makes us so mad. It makes your bones just curl up in anger. Do they hydrate too? I think so. Sometimes, before we move on to the next thing, before you go do whatever, you just take a breath. One more. We never do this. Well, we're doing it now, okay? This is my new thing. This is my new thing that we're doing. I know I'm acting like we do this all the time. We don't, but now we're going to. We're gonna start doing deep breathing on the stream, okay? Because I think we all need it. I will not fed post. Yes, do not fed post. Just before, look, y'all. Be smart, okay? This is what I was saying yesterday. Be mindful. Be smart. Don't give them more of a reason, okay? It doesn't mean that you stop being an advocate. It doesn't mean that you are cowered into silence. It means that you are mindful, that you're demure and mindful, very demure, very mindful. But when you're feeling angry, which it's easy to feel that all the time, seriously, breath work, okay? Breathing. It is the one thing that will help to settle you. So before you post that tweet, before you put something in chat, before whatever it is that you are going to put online that people will screenshot, that they will track, that they will try and bring the hammer down on you. Take a breath, okay? Think about my words. You might have to lobotomize me. Well, we can get to that too. I want you to hear my voice in your head before you send that tweet that could end up putting you on a list. And I'm not even being hyperbolic. When I say put you on a list, I'm being literal, okay? Hear my voice in your head. You take a breath. Even if it's your non-shit posting account, it is not worth it, okay? There is advocacy, and then there's being unhinged. Is CarolineKwan in the morning going to become a regular thing now? We do it here and there. I can't do it regularly because I still do streams at night, and so it kind of fucks my sleep schedule. But, you know, I try to do at least once a week. Aiming for a couple times. I was always told the internet is forever, so don't say something you'll regret. Okay, you guys see how frequently someone like Hassan's chat and Discord is stalked, is screenshotted, is posted online. So the things that we do in here and the things that I remind you of is to keep those cockroaches from doing that to y'all, okay? So these are reminders for your and our community's own good. Also, this doesn't just happen in big Discords, it also happens in small ones too. Yes. I learned that recently, that there are people, doesn't matter if you think you've got things locked down, but there are people in our Discord who are there to screenshot and send stuff along the way. So you always keep it cute. Okay. As I said, it does not mean that you stop. It does not mean that you stop your advocacy, but it means that when you are feeling anger, which it's very easy to feel, you check yourself. You check yourself. Straight news out of Cannes. The winner of the Palm Dog is from the Icelandic film The Love That Remains. The Palm Dog. See, this is what I want Farley to be. This is the life that I want for him. Oh, the Palm Dog. Oh, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. The Palm Dog. The Palm Dog. It's just so crazy we have to walk on eggshells because dipshits who claim to fancy free speech will screenshot everything. I want to be clear too, is that I don't want you to view it as walking on eggshells, right? I don't want to cede any ground. It's just a reminder of this just goes for the internet in general, okay? Just always think twice before you post anything. You know? So don't look at this as you're terrified because of fucking Asmongold's community, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? But more so just in general with what has also been happening politically with the way the Trump administration is using its institutional might and attempting to censor and surveil like we've never done before. Just be smart, okay? Be smart about it. And there is this tendency too to like get swept up in stuff. It's very easy to get swept up in stuff and just post willy-nilly. You know? So, anywho. Anyway, yeah. And look, also, we do things differently here. We do things differently here in this chat. In this community. Not everybody does things the way that we do things, but here we do things the way that we do. And me and the mods always just want to make sure that this community stays safe, that this community is not constantly being targeted. So just remember, keep in mind that there's a lot of considerations that are made that you might not be aware of, but it is to ensure that this community remains not the top of the target list, because that's not fun for anybody. Are you still doing an IRL stream with the Kwan sisters? I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Okay, let's talk about what's going on with Harvard. Trump bans international students at Harvard in horrifying move. I saw this tweet yesterday. I'm sorry, but Harvard is working with the CCP is so fucking funny. This is so bad, but so absurd that I can't help but laugh. I also feel like I cannot help but laugh. The court already blocked it, yes. But this statement here by Kristi Noem. This administration is holding Harvard accountable for fostering violence, anti-Semitism, and coordinating with the Chinese Communist Party on its campus. It's so absurd, you cannot help but to laugh, that Harvard is coordinating with the Chinese Communist Party. I just love this idea of like the most racist caricature in Kristi Noem's mind of Chinese people, a group of Chinese communists sneaking around on Harvard's campus. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kristi. Can you define habeas corpus again? Sorry. Habeas corpus. You got it? You got that? Need to stop communist spies from stealing spots at Harvard from Connecticut lacrosse players. Yeah. What? Like it's hard? You know those Chinese communist spies who go to Harvard and they're like, what? Like it's hard? Legally, Chinese Communist Party blonde. Okay, so a court has already blocked this. Let me see if I can find a Trump Harvard. Let's see if the latest.
We do have breaking news now. The Trump administration is just.
Okay, this is from 2 hours ago.
Harvard is hitting back at the Trump administration with a new lawsuit.
Oh, here we go. This is from 11 minutes ago.
The federal judge issued a temporary restraining order on the Trump administration's ban on Harvard's ability to enroll international students. Now, that ban would impact nearly a quarter of the student body at Harvard. The administration says it's because of Harvard's handling of anti-Semitism on campus and that enrolling international students is a privilege, not a right. Harvard calls it, quote, clear retaliation for refusing to bow to the White House demands. I want to turn to CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig, who is going to explain in English what exactly this means. First of all, the what we just heard from the judge, and broadly, what the actual case you think both the administration and Harvard have here?
Yeah, so Dana, this ruling just came out minutes ago. It is a big win for Harvard, temporary, but very significant.
Okay, can these universities please tell the Trump administration to fuck off? All right, stop cowering to the Trump administration, especially when you are Harvard. I'm sorry, but Trump withholding $60 million in federal grants, yeah, that sucks because, of course, often what departments are being targeted, okay? Like very important departments. And of course that is, it's aimed at repressing speech, et cetera, academic freedom. But like, seriously, you are massive institutions. Stop cowering to the Trump administration. Stop capitulating. Stop capitulating to fucking Kristi Noem. And yes, you know, this has been blocked. A judge blocked this, so it's a win for Harvard. But I mean the institutions themselves standing up straight, getting a fucking spine, and not listening to someone who's like, the Chinese Communist Party has taken over Harvard.
What this says is the court is blocking the Trump administration from blocking Harvard from bringing in international students. In other words, as of this moment, it's back to the status quo. Harvard may continue to bring in international students. Now, the way this case came about is the Trump administration sent a letter about a month ago in April to Harvard saying essentially, we want the following information on every one of your 7,000 international students. We want disciplinary records. We want records of any obstructive behavior by any of them, any dangerous behavior by any of them. Harvard tried to comply to the extent they could. Some of those terms are very general, but Harvard sent back documents to the Trump administration. The Trump administration said, nope, we're not satisfied, and therefore you can no longer accept these students.
You will, there's no winning here with them, okay? So tell them to fuck off.
Now, the court today said, I'm putting that on hold. The judge said, I'm putting that on hold because to block these international students would cause irreparable harm, both to the students, some of whom are currently enrolled at Harvard. Suddenly their status was in question. Can they go back? Can they attend the summer semester? And to Harvard itself, which, as you said, about a quarter of its entire student body are these international students. So for the moment, Harvard is free to continue admitting these students.
You want to know what they want? They want you to put the students in chains themselves, or they want you to chain these students up yourself and hand them over the Trump administration. So that is why it's time to grow a spine and tell them to fuck off.
The larger issue still has to play out in the courts.
And Ellie, what legal basis does the Trump administration have for its actions here?
So it's not exactly clear to me. It seems like the Trump administration's legal position here is we're the executive branch. We control these student visa programs, F1 and J1 student visa programs. And if we want to revoke them, we can revoke them. And by the way, we're doing this all to prevent anti-Semitism on campus. However, Harvard's response to that in their brief that they put in yesterday is, first of all, it violates our First Amendment rights. It's not up to the government, the federal government, to
Donald Trump, famously a fighter of anti-Semitism,
manage speech and ideology.
Yeah, also Dana Fash is complicit as well. Yesterday, didn't she say that wasn't she saying on CNN? Sorry, 1 second. That Free Palestine, calls for a free Palestine is genocidal. Or let me get the exact, hold on. Dana Bash calls for free Palestine. Sorry, it's hard to keep straight. Which upholder of fascism has said exactly what. Dana Bash suggests that free Palestine is a call for violence against Jews. Yeah, so make no mistake that Dana Bash of CNN has been complicit in laundering bullshit claims of anti-Semitism in an effort to suppress free speech, in an effort to quell advocacy and activism against that is critical of the U.S. empire and the state of Israel. Dana Fash, everybody.
On campus. And then Harvard's second argument is even if the administration had the right to do this, they have to comply with something called the Administrative Procedures Act, basically saying they have to go through a process. We're entitled to a hearing, we're entitled to an appeal, and none of that has been done yet. And I think that's part of the reason we saw today's ruling as well. It seems to me on the face of it, Harvard has a much stronger legal argument.
Ellie, thank you so much for helping break that down for us. Appreciate it. Good to see you. And
All right.
here at the table, I'm joined by an amazing group of...
She's been doing this for a while. She's not opposed to what Trump is doing. She just doesn't like that Trump is the one that's doing it. Yes, it's liberals who go, well, I agree, but also I'm no fan of Donald Trump as a person.
Reporters today, CNN's Jamie Gengel, Zolan Kano-Youngs of the New York Times, CNN's Elena Treen, and Tia Mitchell of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Happy Friday, everybody. Friday of a holiday weekend. Jamie, put this in perspective.
So, as Ellie said, this is a big win for Harvard, but there is still uncertainty about how this is going to play out. Imagine if you're a student and you're wondering, will I really be able to go to class in the fall? It's also not just international students at Harvard who are panicked about this. Every university is watching this. Every business is watching this, wondering, are we next? And just big picture, this is, we were discussing this earlier, this is a real problem for our country right now because we are seeing this throughout. We're seeing it at law firms, we're seeing it at universities, we're seeing, Tim Cook at Apple was told you're going to get a 25% tariff. Both Democrats and Republicans have said to me, this is what authoritarian capture looks like.
Yes. Do you know what that also is? It's claiming that calls for free Palestine are calls for violence to Jews. Okay. So anybody in the mainstream media who has been complicit in this rhetoric, in helping to manufacture consent for genocide, how dare you try and separate what Trump is doing to Harvard in trying to ban, in trying to eliminate its international student program with the larger cause of Palestine, of what has been happening to Palestinians in Gaza and to Palestinian advocates here in the United States.
And so what the administration is sort of going in with and what they started to go in with at other schools.
Didn't Apple donate to Trump's inauguration? They all did.
You didn't handle the very raw, very real anti-Semitism that made Jewish students feel uncomfortable and unsafe for a long time,
See, here she
particularly
goes.
after October 7th.
Here she goes.
Well, and so we are going to punish you. What the administration did with their threats is went far beyond anti-Semitism. And they made demands from Harvard that were based on political ideology, having really...
Do you not see how this is all, it's all in the same bubble, Dana? This is not a different matter, okay? When you're saying, well, they went far beyond it. It is true that anti-Semitism on college campuses has been the major issue since October 7th, but the Trump administration, they went a little too, they went beyond. They went beyond stopping anti-Semitism. It's like, bitch, they are using that same bullshit excuse of fighting anti-Semitism in order to uphold their desire to be an authoritarian government and to quash free speech.
Really nothing to do with anti-Semitism.
Extremely directly a part of the problem.
Larry Summers, who has had a lot of jobs, Treasury Secretary, but he was also the president of Harvard for a while. Here's what he said this morning on CNN.
This is extortion. It's a vendetta using all powers of the government because of a political argument with Harvard. I've often been critical of Harvard on aspects relating to identity politics, anti-Semitism, and much more. But that's not what this is about.
And just remember too, okay, a lot of these liberals in the political class, in the media class, remember that their opposition stems from being opposed to Donald Trump, okay? It's not about being, it's not about like their fundamental beliefs in being against war and genocide and etc. Like, they oppose Donald Trump, and so that's why they are at all critical here, because it's about Trump.
This is about a vicious attack to pursue a personal agenda.
But they had no issues with Biden, because of course not. So when Biden was facilitating a genocide, when Biden was doing his part when they were in power to suppress free speech, of course not in the way that we see Trump, like not to the extent. But remember that there is, when it comes to Israel, there is not some grand ideological difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. This is just about Donald Trump as a person.
Right. I mean, there's the conversation about how universities handled protests on campus over the past year, right? But what we've seen is now I believe there's 8 different investigations.
Yeah, when Biden called in a huge storm of cops on kids, no problem.
We've seen the administration not just talk about their handling of anti-Semitism, but also talk about who universities are hiring, different levels of including diversity into the students that you're admitting and the people that you're hiring. There are those in the administration even before these campus protests, I remember this from Trump round 1, that felt that the Ivy Leagues in particular almost set the tone for a more sort of liberal society that we would see, and have tried to change the culture of those universities to have a university system that really does reflect MAGA in a way and reflects the ideology of the federal government. And you're seeing now the sort of a hodgepodge of responses to these universities under that vein. Here also, you mentioned all the people, you know, companies and what have you that are responding just to this response when it comes to international students. I would add one more, and that's other nations as well. One of the ways that the United States has strong relationships, even with adversaries like China, is through the relationship it has in the collaboration with international students.
What's up, Green Donut?
You cut that off, it also is going to have a diplomatic ripple effect as well.
You know, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was just reading an op-ed that Jason Furman, who also is in economics, is an economist and an expert, and who worked for Democrats, but also went to Harvard and is now a Harvard professor. He wrote about exactly that, about the fact that there has been untold benefit. It's almost impossible to calculate how much the benefit that the U.S. has had historically in bringing over international students, and then, of course, sending international students abroad. That's when it comes to maybe soft power or diplomacy. And then there's just the raw dollars and cents. He wrote here that the U.S. receives as much as $50 billion annually from foreign students.
No, I mean, it's also something that we've learned, and you've seen this in some of the reporting today, that some of the money from these foreign students, from these international students, helps pay for the financial aid for domestic students.
Yeah.
So there's definitely...
Oh, you mean the way that like immigrants pay taxes? You mean that they're not freeloaders, that they don't come to this country and just get whatever they want, that they freeload off of the hard-working, tax-paying Americans?
An economic question here. I think your point, Zolan, about why.
Do you know how much money international students have to pay? If you went to college, and you met any international students, talk to them, they pay so much fucking money, okay? So much. Same with undocumented students in the U.S.
The Trump administration is doing this and looking more broadly at not just what they're doing with this lawsuit, but also other things that they've done. It's very clear that this is a cultural issue for the Trump administration and for the White House. And you have a lot of people in the White House who believe that Harvard and these other Ivy League institutions are not preaching or they're preaching and they're practicing things that they shouldn't be. It's similar to what we've seen with them try to do in public schools about trying to change what the curriculums are. They believe that they are too woke and that they need to take actions against them. And we saw them do this. This was related to some of the diversity practices that Zolan was talking about, try to, propose revoking their tax exempt status. I mean, that is a sign of retribution, and people inside the White House acknowledge that.
Well, yeah, so there's retribution, which we're going to talk about in 1 second. And then there's the idea that they feel that they have a mandate because the president campaigned on a lot of these issues. Maybe not, kicking out foreign students at Harvard, but what he calls the woke agenda. I mean, that was a
Miss Rachel WWE pivot would go hard. Man, I used to pray for times like these.
Big part of what we heard over and over and over from him, and he won the election. So in his mind and in the mind of the people who work for him, they think that this is the way to go. Again, just back on the economics of this, according to Axios, U.S. startups valued at $1 billion or more, 44% are founded or co-founded by immigrants. I don't have the data, but I believe that here you go, around 24 founded or co-founded by international students, specifically from Harvard. And I would imagine a lot of those 44% that co-founded.
Yeah, so let's be clear. Harvard doesn't want to lose this money, okay? They're evaluating here, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to lose the tuition money that these international students pay. Man, I was going to get you a Dan Henschel cameo today, but it's sold out. Bro, why would you even tell me that? Why would you even tell me that if it's sold out?
These startups beyond Harvard were educated in the United States.
I mean, President Trump doesn't have to look far. His main advisor, Elon Musk, is a very successful American businessman who's an immigrant, right? And so I think
he had to escape white genocide in South Africa.
Students in universities, but I really think this is also part of Trump trying to reshape the American government system, reshape what we currently consider America's democracy. And we know that one way authoritarian leaders do so is by attacking free thought, free speech, and attacking facts. And we've seen him do that in how he is going after, the academy, our higher education system, among other institutions in America.
I was going to get you Mr. Rogers cameo, but he's dead. Thanks for reminding me. What would Miss Rachel's finishing move be? Man, I could see some tornado twirl with her ponytail and just whack, 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 whack. Miss Rachel's finishing move. She starts spinning. Faster, 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 faster. Whack, 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 whack. Or a choke out with the headband. Yes. A neck breaker called nap time. Bye-bye. It's time for nappy. Just breaks the neck. I said before already, Miss Rachel should get to shoot one person a day. At this point, Okay, real quickly, let's take a look at why do I have Clandace Owens and Harvey Weinstein in my title. So, just a reminder that Candace Owens ain't on the team. Okay, if you're like, man, Candace, she's been saying some things lately. They're pretty cool. She apologized for the things she has said about Arabs, about Muslims. She's never on the team, y'all, okay? She is never on the team. And remember, her being against Israel is because she is an anti-Semite. She is not on the team. There are a lot of people who are on the team. We do not need Clandace Owens, okay? Please do not do revisionist history for her. We're talking about Clandace Owens. And here's one thing that Clandace Owens has been up to, in case you missed it. So, from the day that Me Too in 2017 broke, where globally, people started sharing, victims started sharing their stories with hashtag #MeToo. Clandace Owens came out against the movement and stated her intent to see it dismantled. Okay, so for the past 8 years, Clandace has not, she has not disguised the fact that one of her goals in being a person with a platform is to see the dismantling of the Me Too movement and any progress that has been made towards ending systemic harassment and abuse. All right. Oh boy, rehabilitating Harvey. Oh boy, indeed. Harvey Weinstein gave his first interview in 8 years to Clandace Owens on Tuesday because she is making a series with the intention, as she stated herself, to publicly exonerate Harvey Weinstein. And it's no coincidence that she's putting this out now because he's in the middle of a retrial. All right. So in 2020, just to remind you, in 2020, Weinstein was criminally convicted in New York on rape, on charges of rape and sexual assault. And this was seen as a landmark moment for justice. However, last year, the New York Court of Appeals overturned the conviction because they found that the judge, in allowing the prosecution to introduce testimony of sexual misconduct from women against Weinstein, but women whose allegations were not part of the formal charges, they found that to be in error, and so they overturned the conviction. Now he still has a guilty conviction in California. So when they overturned the conviction, it didn't just suddenly release him from prison, but it meant that this was going to go back to trial, that he was going to have to be retried. So that's what's been happening right now. New accusers have come forward and are forming the basis of the retrial against Harvey. So this time, the case that the prosecution has been presenting is much narrower. They are specifically focusing on allegations in the indictment. And it's again, even if he is not reconvicted, he still has his conviction in the state of California. So this is why Clandace is putting out these Harvey Weinstein episodes right now, because the retrial is currently ongoing. So it's the first interview. It's the first time that Harvey Weinstein has given an interview in 8 years. And it was to Clandace Owens, who has been supporting him and who convinced Joe Rogan to also support him. So recently, Joe Rogan said on his podcast that he has begun to agree with Clandace Owens that Weinstein's accusers all had something to gain by sleeping with him, and then jumped on board when he was accused publicly. So you have two of the biggest names in online conservative spaces who are publicly saying that Harvey Weinstein is not guilty. It's fucking vile. Yeah. Clandace Owens said that Harvey is being railroaded in a cultural battle and then he thanked her for granting him the chance to speak, and then launched into his defense, where he admitted to rampant infidelity and trading his influence for sex, but maintained, as he has since the beginning of the Me Too movement, that he never assaulted or raped anyone. I just wanted to say that I'm not angry, but I'm angry at the system. Yeah, the system that famously does not benefit people like Harvey Weinstein and did not benefit him for years. My situation was transactional, looking back at it. Weinstein said that he made mistakes that hurt his family and friends, but, quote, "I did not commit these crimes. I swear that before God and the people watching now and on my family that I'm wrongfully accused. But justice has to know the difference between what is immoral and what is illegal." Gross. gross, 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 gross. And this is what's very concerning to me, okay? Look at this. Clandace Owens, Harvey Weinstein. So, Clandace.
All right, you guys,
Clandace has started to release the videos, and like this one episode, Harvey Speaks. Where is it?
All right.
Harvey Speaks. I never knew this woman. This has 1.4 million views. And like the comments are terrifying. And because of the influence that people like Clandace Owens and Joe Rogan have, I have already been seeing posts online of people who are like, you know what? Actually, maybe Harvey Weinstein was framed. Harvey is innocent. Harvey was forced to be the scapegoat, like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's very concerning. It's awful, obviously, because for a long time now, Harvey has been held up as like kind of the epitome of Me Too. Okay. For good and for bad, I talk all the time about the comparisons that are made to Harvey Weinstein, where when someone else is facing another powerful figure, is facing allegations, people will compare them to Harvey in a way that often can be detrimental, where it's like, well, he's no Harvey Weinstein. And it's like, okay, we understand there's a spectrum of abuse. Not everyone is going to be Harvey Weinstein in the scope and scale and in the just power that Harvey had in the industry. But you can't make your determination based on if somebody did what Harvey did exactly or not. Are these people trying to rehab evil people like this for any particular reason other than culture wars? No, that's what it is. These are conservatives who are actively doing everything to fight against progress, to fight against political and social progress. Clandace Owens, as I said, from the moment that the Me Too movement kicked off in 2017, was like, this is victimization of men. This is bad. I am going to do everything that I can to dismantle this movement. She is always on the wrong side. Yes. So just a reminder that, like, she is not on the team. She is not an ally. Please do not forget the harm that Clandace has caused and continues to cause. Okay. Like, as she grows a bigger platform, because she, after leaving the Daily Wire, smartly rebranded, and she has more followers than ever. Please do not forget who she is, okay? Chat, in case you didn't know, we call her Clandace because she has said that Hitler was a great man who tried to make Germany great again, but his only mistake was when he tried to be an expansionist who grew beyond Germany's borders. Right. We're talking about Clandace Owens. Harvey Speaks. Harvey Speaks. Where's the one piece that I posted? Clandace Owens gives Harvey Weinstein a platform to profess his innocence. Harvey Weinstein has been we're not going to watch this, but I just want to show you some. Has been incarcerated since 2020. He is currently on Rikers Island, the most dangerous jail in America. Harvey has maintained both his innocence and his silence. The following is his first on-camera interview in 8 years.
I just wanted to say that I'm not angry, but I'm angry at the system. You know, my situation was transactional, you know, looking back at it. And I want to thank you, Candace, for giving me the opportunity to speak. I just want to say something very clearly. I believe women should be heard, but I'm wrongfully.
Oh my God, what an ally. Thank you. Thank you for saying that women should be heard. Except when it comes to you.
Convicted. You know what I mean? And right now, I'm not convicted. I'm on a retrial. An appeal overturned my conviction. But justice demands a clear,
in New York. Let's not forget about California.
honest look at each case. And I am here for fairness and the truth. You know what I mean?
Stop. Hey, Harvey, we can tell you're reading a script, buddy.
I made mistakes. There's no question about it. I hurt my family. I hurt my friends. I cheated on my wife, and that was a mistake, you know, a terrible mistake. And I apologize to friends, family, and all the innocent people who inadvertently I hurt, and especially to the Messick family, Jill Messick and her family.
The other thing, too, is can you imagine someone who's not a Harvey Weinstein with his wealth, with his power, with his resources, his everything, being a powerful white man in Hollywood? Can you imagine someone who's not that getting a platform like this, getting the retrial that he got?
But I did not commit.
Let me be clear, is I am against prosecutorial misconduct, but I think it's important to point out that you only get second chances. You only get these kinds of things when you are somebody who has the resources and power that a Harvey Weinstein has. Okay? It is a different criminal justice system for people like Harvey.
Crimes. I swear that before God and the people watching now, and on my family. I'm wrongfully accused. But justice has to know the difference between what is immoral and what is illegal.
Fuck off.
People would say my complainants, you know what I mean? You know, okay, I'm getting emotional.
Are you?
Everyone deserves a fair
You're such a fucking bitch.
trial. Media doesn't favor me, but thanks to you, Candace, there's a voice out there, and Joe Rogan, and uses every opportunity, the mainstream media, to discredit me. But I speak for innocent people.
Oh my God,
Justice
fuck off.
has to matter. Evidence has to matter. I've lost everything. You know what I mean? I've lost everything a man can lose, but still the truth matters. I've been condemned of crimes I did not commit. I understand why people want someone to blame.
Why is he reading from a script? Because he's a Hollywood producer through and
I
through.
am telling the truth. End of statement.
All right.
End of glasses.
That's enough. I don't need to see more of this bullshit. I just wanted to show you guys an example. So it's why too, I mean, for many reasons, but I do not give these people a pass. I do not give the Joe Rogans and the Clandace Owens a pass ever. They have enormous platforms that they are often using to spread filth, to influence millions of people in a very harmful way. Mother, why are you streaming so early? Because I got things to say. Punished Casimir, thank you for the 7 months. A few short years ago, Harvey Weinstein was widely considered the monster against which all other alleged sexual abusers were measured. And as I said, that was a lot of times that's been bad because people will use Harvey as like so-and-so has been accused of shit, didn't do what Harvey Weinstein did, so therefore they're not they're not bad. Like, it's fine. It's whatever. They're not Harvey Weinstein. As he begins his New York State retrial for a series of rape and sexual assault charges over a period of years, the consensus has broken. To see just how wide of a cultural swing we're in the midst of, observe the questions that right-wing commentator Clandace Owens, and manosphere hero Joe Rogan, notable just asking questions provocateurs, have begun asking on Weinstein's behalf. I am honestly so shocked that this is something that Asmongold hasn't been covering. I'm shocked. I probably will be eating my own words, but make no mistake, this is as insane as it seems. The idea that that public opinion would start to shift on Harvey Weinstein, well, that's where we're at right now, okay? That's where we're at. Sorry, I'm not trying to put that into the universe. I can't believe I'm on Harvey Weinstein's side, Joe Rogan said on his podcast in March. I thought he was guilty of, like, heinous crimes. He is. And then you listen and you're like, wait, what? What is going on? Rogan says that Owens' series convinced him to change his mind on Weinstein. This high-profile support for Weinstein is part of a larger anti-Me Too, anti-feminist backlash that took off in earnest in 2023, arguably beginning with the Amber Heard Johnny Depp domestic violence trial, the days in which America was transfixed by accusation after accusation of sexual violence committed by famous men are long over. Gone is the era in which it seemed possible that America was going to truly hold sexual predators accountable, regardless of their fame and power. In this moment, America is more often transfixed by the idea that those famous men aren't so bad after all, that maybe the women who accuse them are simply lying. I refuse, okay? I refuse. No, I refuse. And it is why I talk about this shit all the time, because I refuse to allow this backlash to happen. Doesn't mean that it's not happening, but I refuse. I will keep calling this out, and I will keep pushing us back. I feel like I'm pushing the Sisyphus, pushing the boulder up the hill for eternity, but I will keep pushing the boulder up the hill. It doesn't matter if no one else is pushing the boulder. I will keep pushing it, okay? I don't give a fuck, because this shit is exhausting, and anytime there's progress, we regress because of backlash. And so we have to push back against the backlash. We can't allow things to keep shifting. We have to dig our feet in and push that boulder up the hill. We will push with you. For Owens and Rogan to embrace even Harvey Weinstein signals a true sea change in the place that the Me Too movement holds in American culture, and with it a change in how we understand sexual violence. In the first days after Weinstein was accused, he was treated as a sort of boogeyman, a man whose crimes were so many and so monstrous that all the other sexual crimes coming to light around the same time paled in comparison. He's no Weinstein, commenters said of all the other accused men in those months. Yeah, it was bad. Over the next few years, as Weinstein faced jail time and other men by and large did not, Weinstein became, as the feminist commenter Jessica Valenti wrote in 2022, a point of comparison next to which everyone else seemed not particularly bad. Weinstein went to jail so that when a woman complains about Louis C.K. winning a Grammy, men can scoff at her greedy overreach. They're like, yeah, you got Weinstein. Is that not enough? Is that not enough for you broads? Now Weinstein himself is apparently no Weinstein. As he waits for the current trial to make its way through the courts, Weinstein appears optimistic about Owens' efforts on his behalf. I've never seen anything like it, he told the New York Post. The woman's going to be a superstar, and I have been around stars. One of the greatest successes of the Me Too movement at the height of its influence was not necessarily the criminal prosecution of accused sexual abusers, but its powerful challenge of myths around sexual abuse that had been pervasive for decades. To see Owens' millions of podcast subscribers and social media followers respond by and large favorably to these familiar flimsy defenses shows just how much we seem to have regressed. And it's why when the Blake Lively and Justin shit was happening, and I kept being like, I know you guys think this doesn't matter. You go, it's just celebrity shit. And I'm trying to tell you that it is not. It is indicative of what is happening, culturally at large. And someone like Clandace Owens, who gained a lot of new followers who don't know that she is a fucking white supremacist, reactionary, ideologically dangerous individual, started following her because they wanted to get the tea on Justin and Blake. And now they're probably sitting here watching her series about how Harvey Weinstein is innocent, okay? So they came in, they were primed with the nonstop, Blake Lively is a liar, these women are liars. Like, the wheels started turning where they went, maybe the Me Too movement actually isn't so good. Maybe women actually are liars, and they have a lot to gain from accusing these men. And now they're sitting here and they're watching this fucking series on Harvey Weinstein and going, wow. Really makes you think. Really makes you think. If it happens to someone famous, it'll happen with you easier. Right. Like, the only reason that these stories get a lot of attention is because they are high profile, okay? Because they do involve celebrities. But this happens across the class spectrum. And think about women and victims of sexual violence, okay? All victims of sexual violence who are not heavily resourced, who are not privileged, who bear the great brunt of a society that has deemed them worthless and does not care about the violence that happens to them, okay? So when you say, well, I don't give a shit about this stuff because it's celebrities, what you're actually saying is I don't give a shit about sexual violence. Owens incorrectly asserts that of the more than 80 women who accused Weinstein of sexual misconduct, only 3 ended up bringing charges against him. This, she says, proves that the rest of Weinstein's accusers were liars and that the evidence against him is thin. In fact, 3 women brought charges against Weinstein in New York and 5 more in Los Angeles. By most standards, being legally charged with sexual assault against 8 different women would be considered a lot. Although in Weinstein's case, it does work out to around 10% of his public accusers. And guess what? Do you think that that is because if they were able to, they wouldn't, there would not be charges for each of these women? A lot of times in an investigation, prosecutors will be like, we don't have enough evidence for this one. Or, whatever reason, okay? Even one should be enough. Unfortunately, it is not. Sexual assault is notoriously difficult to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the standard of defense in a criminal court. How many times do we have to fucking say this? Many of the women who accused Weinstein publicly did so years or even decades after the fact, a common phenomenon among survivors of sexual assault, both because of the shame associated with the attack and the difficulty of securing a conviction. In some cases, the legal statute of limitations had closed by the time these survivors finally went public. Like, there was literally nothing that they could even do about it. The standard of evidence in a criminal court is high for a good reason. If you're going to take someone's freedom away from them, you should be absolutely certain that they committed a crime. The 8 cases brought against Weinstein represent the 8 cases that law enforcement was confident they could prove to that standard. And if law enforcement is confident that they can prove a charge of sexual assault, that means that the evidence is very, very, very strong. Okay? The fact that the other 72 or so accusations against Weinstein never resulted in criminal charges doesn't mean that they're all false. It doesn't mean that they're all true either. It means they don't meet the high standards of a courtroom, and that is it. Owen's second major argument is that Weinstein's accusers continued to spend time with him and in some cases send him flirtatious messages after they say he attacked them. She contends that they were acting as sugar babies, engaging in a quid pro quo relationship with Weinstein in which they traded sexual favors for his professional support. It's true that many of the women who have accused Weinstein of sexual assault continued to maintain friendly relationships after their attacks. I wonder the fuck why. This, too, is extremely common among victims of sexual violence, the vast majority of whom knew their attackers well. These are the same things that are being said about Cassie right now, where people are going, oh, if Cassie was such a victim of Diddy's, then why did she stick around? Why did she get back together with him? Why didn't she leave? Why? People just don't want to believe women. That's the truth of it. They don't, okay? They just will find any way to discredit them. Anyway. In the case of Weinstein and his accusers, he held significant professional power over his alleged victims, and his reputation as a vindictive actor left little doubt that he would not hesitate to use it. He torpedoed the careers of women who rejected his advances. That included Mira Sorvino, who said she was forced to stop acting in major studio films after she turned him down. Director Peter Jackson confirmed that he decided not to hire her after Weinstein advised him against it. Mira Sorvino, who was a Nepo baby, okay? Mira Sorvino, who had the privileges of nepotism, was still blacklisted in the industry because she refused Harvey Weinstein. So it didn't matter who her father was, because that is how powerful Harvey Weinstein was. We also know that Weinstein's machinations didn't stop with professional retaliation. As publication approached for the 2 bombshell news articles breaking the story of his decades-long pattern of sexual assault, Weinstein hired private security agencies, including former Mossad spies. Yeah. Weinstein hired former Mossad spies to collect compromising information on the women who were preparing to accuse them. None of the info. So, okay. Anyway, all these revelations were discussed in the press in great detail in the weeks and months after the Weinstein story first broke. This is not new information. That was one of the few benefits of using Harvey Weinstein as a symbol of the worst kind of monster a sexual predator could possibly be. It was reductive and a little sensationalist, but at the very least, the public's fascination with Weinstein meant a chance to talk through a few all too pervasive rape myths. Yeah, this is true. Like, Weinstein at least broke open the doors that we were able to have these, like, national conversations to try and dispel very prevalent rape myths. Because the general consensus was, wow, Harvey Weinstein is a monster. There was no denying it. There was not this great backlash. You had people using his name as like slang to describe someone who is a terrible piece of shit. It meant a chance to explain why so many women hesitate to come forward and tell their stories, why so many women maintain relationships with their attackers, and why it's so hard to get a conviction on a rape case. For a long time, it looked as though if the Me Too movement had accomplished anything outside of a few high-profile arrests, it was that it at least educated the public. When Owens performs her just asking questions routine about Weinstein, she's not asking new questions. She's asking very old ones and acting as though they weren't thoroughly answered the first time around. That she has been able to do so successfully with Weinstein and find an audience willing and eager to welcome her means things could get a lot worse for all the other victims of sexual assault out there. The ones whose attackers don't have 80 public accusations against them, whose attackers are, after all, no Weinstein. The informational ecosystem that she is building is just one sign that the gains of Me Too are far more ephemeral than we had once hoped. Okay, breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. And one more, breathe in. And breathe out. Yeah. When Owens performs her just asking questions routine, No, she is in fact not just asking questions. And anybody who's just asking questions, no, they're not. Okay? They're the most annoying fucking person on the planet. I'm just speechless that the people that call Hollywood evils, Satan worshippers, pedo baby eaters, adrenochrome harvesters are doing this right now. I guess multiple things can be true at once. I guess you can hold multiple thoughts in your brain, even when those thoughts are filled with mold. Why does society hate women so goddamn much, dude? Yeah. Does the term to describe people like Owens who cater to powerful white people, is that a racist term? Rhymes with Dunkel Palm. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Clandace Owens is no friend to the working class. She is no ally to the marginalized. She is not a good person. She is a bad person. She is bad. She is bad. Skeletor, hold on a second. I will. Okay, what do we want to do next? Let me think. Yes. I have to figure out if I can go on the fundraiser Saturday. I think he's extending it to then. If I can try and pop by. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with my sisters yet. So hopefully I can come on, even if it's just for a little bit. Have you seen this? Wait, what is this? Your turn? This is an official casting call. One lucky fan will be selected for a role in Sunrise on the Reaping. To audition, show us your best, act out a scene, perform a song, or surprise us with something completely new. All talent welcome, no previous experience necessary. Hello, hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hello? Have you seen the casting so far? Yeah, it's perfect. Are you kidding me? Wait, I got this. Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man, say he murdered 3. Strange things can happen, no stranger would it be. At midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Okay, sing it with me. Are you coming to the tree where I told you to run so we'd both be free? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Oh my God, I want to be Covey so badly. Please. Can I please be? I have to be Covey. You know that's totally who I would have been in. I would have been in that crew if I were there during the Hunger Games. Okay, playing my little guitar, singing songs. Are you coming to the tree where dead men called out for his love to flee? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you familiar with Morse?
I was an extra in the Hunger Games.
Was he?
Part 1. I know. No autographs. I'm just a normal person like all of you. I put my pants on one nipple at a time and wipe my ass crack after a hard shit with both hands. But I figured I'd go into detail about this. I've talked about it on the official podcast a little bit, but I've never really dove into what it meant to be the world's most spit-on extra. When it comes to being a useless extra in a movie, I'm the cream of the crop. I'm the cream supreme. Does that mean that I'm the best actor in the entire world of acting? I like to think so, but on paper, no, absolutely fucking not. So this story starts like every other good story, every other fairy tale. I had just drained my nuts at a hard jerk-off session, and that's not a joke because I genuinely did jerk off. And in that like
what is happening?
10 minutes of just pure euphoria where you feel like you know everything in the universe, like you see the strings that hold it all together, I decided, you know what? I want to pursue some acting. So like every 21st century man.
Wait, he was jacking off and then he was enlightened that he wanted to be an actor?
And I turned to Google and I was looking up open casting calls and found one for Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. It was in Atlanta, and they wanted headshots and full body shots shirtless. I didn't really know how to do this because I didn't have either of those, and I didn't really want to ask my friends because Tinder wasn't exactly around at that time, so I couldn't just play it off as, hey bro, I'm just trying to slay some punani out here, take these cool shirtless pics of me, let me flex real hard real quick. So I didn't want to ask my friends for anything like that, so I thought it'd be significantly less weird to ask my dad to do it. So my dad was snapping some cool shirtless pictures of me like every good father and son relationship. But what I didn't think of at the time is my dad's 6'5". He's tall as shit, and I'm 5'6". I'm short as shit. And he was taking them at regular eye level. So he was looking down on me, which made me look
Is that not how you got into it?
Shorter than I am. So I looked like a fucking action figure in these photographs. They ended up choosing me to play an extra, and when I went to the fitting, they had a hard time actually getting me anything because they had already banked on me being 4'1". So that was kind of nice and flattering when they're like, wow, you're taller in person, because that's something I've never heard in my entire fucking life. Usually it's, wow. Yikes. But anyway, we do eventually find some clothes that fit me, luckily, as if that was a Herculean task. You could have just gone to Toys R Us and found some shit for me. But anyway, we move on from there. We go to the filming. It was about a week after the fitting. And the scene took place in this podunk shithole rust-filled factory that they were using for this location. I guess they had just nicely asked all the homeless people that lived there to leave and kindly asked the heroin addicts not to come back for the course of the next week. So anyway, the scene I'm in, Katniss goes to this factory. It's District 8. It's supposed to be a hospital where she's looking over shit.
Yes.
I'm going to play a clip from it here.
Katniss?
You here to fight with us?
Are you here to fight with us?
I am.
Katniss!
I will.
Is it really you?
Here I played just a helping hand, some goofy goober who had no clue what he was doing but was supposed to be caring for a burn victim. They gave me a slight line to read. I guess it wasn't supposed to be like a SAG type line, SAG being Screen Actors Guild, where you need 3 lines to automatically enter it, so it doesn't really count, unfortunately, and it never would have, even if it did make the fucking final cut, which it didn't. I will never forgive them. Boycott Hunger Games because they took out my part. But anyway, my line was somewhere along the lines
Also, to clarify, you have to have 3 union jobs to make you SAG eligible.
This girl needs help. She's burned. Yikes. Oh, shit. It's a burn. I don't know what I'm doing. I am not a doctor. It's a burn. Help. Basically just crying for help. That didn't make the final cut, and neither did a lot of other people's lines. There's an elderly man next to me that had a line. You can actually see him in the final cut here. But anyway, I was on a mission to solidify a spot in the final cut of this movie, so I was doing everything necessary, no holds barred. If I had to start rimming people, I'd start rimming them. If I had to start flipping tables and wet willying bitches, I was gonna do it. I was getting into this fucking movie's
Oh my god, do I have to rim people to be in Sunrise on the Reaping?
No cut, no matter what.
More like Sunrise on the Rimming.
So what I would do is I would chase around the action in my designated area. So the elderly man that had lines, I would keep scooting closer to him in between takes, that way I'd be there. They didn't use his line, so that slapped me right in my fucking face, unfortunately. I also really goofed around probably too hard. I would be like screaming kind of loud because they're like, be chaotic, be wild. And I was just like, fuck, oh shit, fuck sometimes. And obviously that didn't make the final cut. I thought there'd be a slim chance of that though, maybe in the background like an Easter egg. But I didn't put too much real estate in that. I didn't expect that to make it. But what I did attempt and really thought would make it to the final cut is when this kid right here, the kid who says, are you here to fight? Are you going to fight with this Katniss? I was originally positioned where this one girl's head is poking out. That was supposed to be me. But my plan was, I knew this kid was going to be in the movie no matter what because he's an actual actor. They paid him to do these lines. So my plan was to sit up as straight as possible, as erect as I've ever been in my life. The world's most perfect posture. So that way my head would be at like his titty level. So every time they'd have his lines going, you would see me. You'd have to see me. Unless they were going to fucking pixelate me like a UFO documentary, you were going to see me. But what they ended up doing is they told me to switch with the person they ended up putting there, which is this person that's poking their head out, all very cautiously. Just trying to avoid it. I was trying to get in it. They're trying to stay out of it. They changed me because I was blocking their shot. I was too intrusive. So they ended up putting me a little more ahead. That's not to say I didn't make the final cut, though. It was, at the end of the day, a mission successful. If you pause the movie right here, you can see my arm doing the, is it the, I don't remember, one of these or whatever the fuck the symbol is for Hunger Games. But yeah, you can see me poking it out there. And yeah, that's was my extra role in the Hunger Games Mockingjay. And I probably ruined a little bit of that scene. Not by design, but I was out for number one. I was going to be the world's most...
Can someone please link me a clip of the greatest background acting performance of all time? You know what I'm talking about. I think it's Doctor Strange is the film, and it's that old lady who's sitting behind Benedict Cumbersnatch, and she's like... She's doing that. She kills it. She slays.
Unfortunately, they outsmarted me. But I do honestly kind of feel like maybe I did ruin a couple of the scenes that were supposed to be in there. Because, like I said, there was a lot more lines. But I'd keep fucking scooting closer to them. And I guess they probably didn't like me being in every single line. Which, honestly, I can totally understand. And that's not something that crossed my mind. I never thought that I would maybe potentially ruin someone else's line by just being there, but I can totally see how that could have happened. So if you did have a line in this movie that didn't make it and you suspect it's because I kept photobombing the shit out of it, that's on me and I'm sorry about that. But I mean, hey, it's Hollywood, you know? It's a dog.
It's Hollywood, baby. Yes. Oh my God, this woman is incredible. There she is, my queen. Look at her go to work.
Doctor Strange, Dr. West.
Me. Them. Act natural. Me.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I was a little preoccupied being dust there for 5 years.
This diva. Oh my God, this diva. This part here when she doesn't. You know what? I love her because she was like, I'm going to have my moment here. I am going to, because when you're background, your job is to not be distracting. Okay. You're supposed to be background. And then the main actors have the spotlight on them. Okay. You're supposed to just be regular. Nobody's milling about. And this diva was like, I am going to not blend in. And I love her for it. But she's just looking around.
Doctor Strange,
Dr. West.
This is like one of my favorite clips of all time, of ever. Yeah, it's like she's not trying not to look at the camera. Me, when I know someone has a camera and I'm trying to take a candid photo, I'm like, my gosh, I did not even see that you were taking a picture. Is it cute? Can I see it? That reminds me, I need to take my Adderall. Yes, if you have Adderall, if you have ADHD, as a reminder, take your medication or else you'll be like this. There's also a background actress that steals the scene in Thunderbolts. Oh, let me see. I haven't seen Thunderbolts yet. I love how she even looks at the ceiling for no apparent reason. You know how you just... I'm looking everywhere except at the camera in front of me. Yeah, she's got to check for ceiling traps. Okay, what do I want to look at next? Let's see. Okay. What else do I have here? I can't believe, okay, I have to audition for this. I have to audition for Sunrise on the Reaping. I need to be part of the covey. A game I play has had a SAG VA strike for a while, and the community has turned into the most reactionary anti-union community online. Fuck that. Come in here. This is your new community. Fuck that community. The Modern Family clip about background actors.
Day in a coffee shop. Right, roger that. Here we go, guys. And action.
How have you been, Roy?
A little down. Helen and I really miss the kids, but we just can't afford to visit them right now.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage?
What's that?
Well, you have equity in your home.
All right, you two in the back. We can hear you, so just mime.
Mime. I knew that. I was already doing that.
Essie, thank you for the gifted.
We'll do it again, but everything else is okay?
You haven't done anything else.
So, yeah?
Back to one, guys. Action.
How have you been, Roy?
A little down. Helen and I really miss the kids, but we just can't afford to visit them right now.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage?
What's that?
Well, you have equity in your home,
Why
right?
is she doing
Is she answering an imaginary phone?
Oh, that sounds too good to be true.
Don't take my word for it. Here's Henry Winkler to tell you more.
Okay, cut. Couple in the back.
Yep. No, I know. Bigger?
Yep. Okay, you need us to go bigger with it.
Everybody focus.
I got
Get down
you.
now. Very simple shot. Lot to do today. Lot to do. I need all corpses lying down. We are losing light, people. Let's
yeah,
go.
I've seen this.
Ma'am, I need you to turn over, okay? I need you face down, all right?
Face down?
Yes.
Oh, no, because then you won't be able to see my...
I met Caitlin Olsen once, and I'm here to tell you that she is very funny and very kind. She is, I would love to hang out with her because when I met her on set, she was very cool.
Face down or in the pile of bodies over there. You pick it.
My favorite
All right, energy,
Olsen.
energy. But you're dead. Dead energy. Dead energy. Here we go.
Dead energy. Dead energy.
Yeah, hello. Dennis, hey, we hit a wall on the pitch.
What pitch is that?
The pitch of the movie
Dead
that you're a
energy.
producer on.
Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah, what's up with that?
We realized that none of us...
Are writers, so we decided to play to our strengths and make a poster. What tells a person about a movie better than a picture of what the movie is? What are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? My thoughts are that's brilliant. I think it's cool.
Cut! What are you doing?
Oh, shit, were you guys rolling on that?
Yes, we were rolling on that. Do not talk on your phone during the shot, okay? And you, ma'am?
Oh, me?
Do not roll over during the shot.
Oh, I know, but you know what? I thought about it. I feel like it's better if I'm right side up.
I'm on my first It's Always Sunny watch. Oh, congratulations. And I've been missing out because, holy, it's a great show. Yeah, it is.
Back over.
Back over. Face down and let them in.
Let's roll it again, people. Cut! What the hell are you doing?
Huh?
Why are you saying brains? What?
Oh, because it's a zombie movie. It's like the Shyamalan twist. I figured it out.
This is not a zombie movie. It's a movie about Serbian genocide.
Really?
You, sir! Yes, sir, your phone, it's ringing!
Oh, yeah, no, I know, but listen, man, if you don't let me answer it and solve my boy's problems, then the phone's gonna ring. You can't have it both ways. Can I talk or not?
I gotta agree with him on that one, buddy. I mean, you're not being very clear, which is it?
Turn your phone off! You, miss! Don't improvise! Let's go!
Okay, you know what? I've had about enough of you dicking me around all day, okay? Where is M. Night? I have questions for him.
Oh, no, Mr. Shyamalan isn't directing this unit.
They're
this is a
the
simple
worst.
pickup shot.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Where the hell is M. Night? He's not here?
No.
What the hell's going on here?
Well, he won't get off his phone for starters.
Give me your phone, Dennis. What? Give me your phone. I heard that.
No, I'll tell you exactly what's going on. This guy's been treating me like a dickwad all day long, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it.
I'm gonna fix it, hon.
Thank you.
Fire both of them. I'll take their spot.
What?
Done? You're both fired.
Well, hold on a sec. What are you talking about, Frank?
Being an agent is crap. I want to be an extra. Lay around doing dick.
Great. Both of you. Get your shit out of the tent. Get out of here.
All
Let's
right,
go.
fine. Hey, give my phone back, Frank. Just to be clear, pal, I don't care about any of this. I got my own thing going on, so...
Yeah, the real extras in the back who are not moving.
Just gave you the old Shyamalan twist.
Oh, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But I'll tell you what. I don't care either.
All right, what do I do?
God, this show is so good. It's so good. It's so good because they fully embrace being terrible. Just being the fucking worst. I love her on Hacks. Hacks. I saw Emma Vigeland posting about it. I was like, yes, 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 yes. So here's your daily reminder. If you're not watching Hacks, what the fuck are you doing? I just got here, Caroline. How are you feeling today? I'm good. I'm pretty tired. Also, my air does not work in my stream room, so it is the last couple streams. It has been 1,000 degrees. It is so hot. Have I seen the new episode? Wait, the season finale? Or hold on. I think the last episode I watched was episode 6. Wait, what are we? No. 7. Wait. I know I have a couple episodes that I have to watch. We're on 9 now. Okay, so the finale is next week. No, so I have not watched the most recent one. You're OMG, you are in for a treat with the latest episode. Dude, it's been so good. The show is so good. And this season has not let me down. I love how they have been going after like corporate greed in this season. It's just such a good show that constantly feels fresh, but also tapped into like culturally relevant things that like other lesser shows try to tackle and just do not do as well as Hacks does. How does Callie have so many broken ACs, bro? I don't know, but Will's stream room is like a sauna. My stream room, quite warm. Very, very, very warm. Okay, let's do one more thing. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Ba 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 ba. And those cats was fast as lightning. Okay, let's see. Let's look at let's do. I wanted to watch this cultural nihilism and the rise of the grifter video. I saw somebody posting about it online. It is an hour long. Am I going to do that right now? Maybe not. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe if I stream tomorrow morning, I'll watch that video. Any gaming today? No, actually, I'm going to text my sister and see if she is done with work yet. Are you done with work? Oh yeah, that's a banger vid. Yeah, it looks banger. It looks fun. Have you seen how awful The Weeknd is? Oh wait, actually I think I have a video on how the internet fell out of love with The Weeknd. Where is it? Where did I put it? Kayla says, who does this video series of how the internet fell out of love with so-and-so. Here's what I will say about Mr. Abel, okay? He needs to stop acting. And there are certainly things he does that are quite embarrassing. But my guy did also give like $5 million to humanitarian aid in Gaza. You know, I feel like he was one of the first major celebrities who donated a large sum of money. So I do always keep that in mind.
Abel, you're amazing. You're a legend. You're the greatest musician that's ever lived.
I don't know who thought this movie was a good idea.
The story is pretty much non-existent, and it's just a glorified music video spread out to waste an hour and 40 minutes of your life.
Shut up. I'm literally on tour. I'm being nice right now. This is me being nice.
He played his ex's voicemail in the middle of a concert. Yeah, he does whack shit.
I thought The Weeknd would never have something as bad as The Idol under his belt when it came to acting credits. How wrong I was.
So I think it's kind of interesting that in some ways The Weeknd's music is like the least interesting thing about him. I don't mean this in a bad way. I actually like his music quite a bit, but let's back up for a sec. If you're unfamiliar, Abel Tesfaye, who goes by the stage name The Weeknd, is a Canadian R&B and pop artist who has been releasing music for quite some time now. You have probably heard at least one of his songs on the radio. The man has endless hits.
Okay. The movie was fantastic. What is going on right now? Even in this subreddit, LOR, are we watching the same thing? This thing is amazing. People comparing it to Idol levels of bad. Like, holy shit, you can't be real. I think the acting was phenomenal from everyone. Everyone? Every single one? Everyone. I saw that one scene where he's saying shut the fuck up, pulled out of context, but that scene's supposed to be funny and is a very real reaction to what Anima is doing. The film asks you to dive into what is being shown to you throughout. Wow. I've never seen a film do that. Like, there's lots of details that are telling what is actually going on, and it is very reminiscent of how we interpret meaning from the stories of After Hours and Dawn FM. I had to do a whole ass explanation of my viewing on Letterboxd because it genuinely made me so curious. It's not a surface level film, and it's not a vanity project. It's a psychological expose of The Weeknd's traumas and self-failures. It can still be bad. Okay, let me just be clear. It may have been an attempt at a psychological expose of The Weeknd's traumas and self-failures. That does not make it a good movie. Another thing to add is that it is a very well shot and edited film, like exceptional. It radiates, I don't know, man. I've seen clips and it's not giving exceptional. It radiates that atmosphere that you feel from Abel's music, dark and dangerously beautiful. The music, don't really have anything to say here. It's The Weeknd and OPN. Come on now. I really just want to say that this movie is great. And I think these early impressions, as unbiasedly as I can say, are both vindictive and dismissive of Abel's artistry. That's it. Go see the film for yourself and just absorb and decipher what is going on. I don't think I shall.
In the modern day music and streaming landscape. And
I don't
it's
think
easy to
I
understand
shall.
why. He's got a great voice and stage presence, and he's been able to evolve his sound over time, so much so that it feels like his music has been a present part of the soundtrack of my own personal life since like high school. From edgier, moodier tracks on his 2015 album Beauty Behind the Madness to his electronic and pop synth inspired projects like Starboy in 2016 and After Hours in 2020. And this is why the internet fell in love with The Weeknd, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. He's a great musician. He's got a great body of work. He's very successful at what he does. But as successful as The Weeknd is, it's kind of clear that Abel has always wanted a little bit more. I mean, he did get more of a narrative going for himself in early 2021 following the release of After Hours, an album known for its record-breaking single Blinding Lights, which remains one of the most...
Yo, can I say something? Can I say something? I hate the song Blinding Lights. And I have never, but did you like it before it got overplayed? I don't know. It's a good question, but I don't know. I'm sure that had something to do with
most
it.
streamed songs to ever exist. But despite its popularity and the album's overall positive reception, After Hours...
the duality of chat, rare L take, good take, not gonna lie. Yo, if you think that's a good take, can I see a prime sub in chat? Where my primers at? Where my primers at who are like, W take my prime sub. You know what? For that take my prime sub. Can I get a prime sub? What? You know, okay, anyway.
Was not nominated for any Grammy Awards in the year that it became eligible.
How many
Abel
times
called out the Grammys
did you have to
for this,
listen to
accusing
Blinding
them of
Lights while
unfair
working the
treatment
club?
and secret
So
backdoor
many
committees. There were even rumors that they tried to make him choose between performing at the award show or performing
Cano Tan, thank you for the prime.
at the Super Bowl that year, and that's ultimately what led to the snub. And no matter what actually went down, by all accounts, Abel was right. After Hours should have been nominated that year, and it's crazy that it wasn't, and most people agreed. And he stood 10 toes down on that move by refusing to submit his music for future Grammy consideration. This year, the beef seems to have been squashed between The Weeknd and the Recording Academy because he actually ended up coming out and doing a surprise performance. But anyway, if we're speaking strictly about Abel's music career, he's always been the victor. He's always been well liked. He's done tons of collabs across the rap and pop music sphere. And he's always been vindicated and come out on top. But unfortunately for all of us, Abel doesn't just make music. Abel has always been a film enthusiast. He made a cameo in one of my favorite films, Uncut Gems. He's voice acted here and there, and he
I'm Josh Safdie's muse.
even co-wrote and starred in one of the funniest episodes of American Dad.
I'm a virgin.
It makes sense why he would want to go in this direction. Plenty of big stars have made the transition from music to acting and vice versa. But The Weeknd's smaller potatoes type roles worked well for two reasons. One, the size of the parts weren't that demanding for someone who wasn't trained in acting, and two, they were mostly comedic, and even if he was playing himself, he was playing an exaggerated version of a character, so it looked like...
I think there's something tricky when, as a celebrity who is not known as an actor, you go from playing a heightened version of yourself to like playing characters.
He wasn't taking things all that seriously. But it's clear that The Weeknd wanted to be taken more seriously beyond his music, and the first major indicator of that was his involvement in an HBO show called The Idol, which came out in 2023. We've covered this show on the channel before, but everything about it was a total
love
shit
J-Lo and
show,
Anaconda.
largely because
Duh.
Abel, who starred in the series as Tedros, a seedy nightclub owner turned cult leader, teamed up with notorious industry pervert hack Sam Levinson late into the project's development to give the whole show this dark, edgy...
Oh my god, I forgot his hair looked like that.
Fucked up kind of vibe. The result was a disjointed, uninteresting mess where Tedros, an objectively bad guy TM, is portrayed as this mysterious, creative, magnetic force who inexplicably becomes the muse for Lily Rose Depp's character Jocelyn, a former
Sam
pop star
Levinson, you
trying
must
to
pay
make
for
a
your
comeback
crimes.
after a mental breakdown that drove her away from the spotlight. Obviously, The Idol did not go well, considering that it did not get renewed for any additional seasons, and Abel took the majority of the criticism for how the whole project turned out, especially because of a Variety report that claimed that The Weeknd brought Levinson onto the project because he felt as though the show was leaning too much into the female perspective. The Weeknd recently opened up about the aftermath.
It's a show that's supposed to be about this young wannabe singer who enters the industry and gets involved in like the seedy parts of it, and the complaint of it being too much from the female perspective. It's like, you know what? So true.
Of The Idol during the press interviews
So
for
true.
a new project that we'll talk about in a moment, in which he described the experience as hell, said there were too many cooks in the kitchen, and that he had a mental breakdown while filming the show, dealing with all of the backlash and embarking on a major stadium
Remember
tour.
too, they had like filmed a lot of the show, and it was who was the director? Who was the female director who had? And then they were like, we're scrapping this. It cost so much money. Like, the whole thing was a shit show.
So after all of this, surely Abel learned The fucking siren. I'm gonna... So surely after all of this, Abel perhaps learned that music was the more relevant creative outlet for him, at least at this point in time, right? Who's to say that that can't change down the line if he learns more about film and acting and studies the craft and understands what makes a compelling character and story structure? Like, maybe he should just take the time to learn all of that before he jumps into the next television or film project, right? Like, that's a logical step to make, right? Right?
I have a feeling that we're gonna get to know a little bit more of the real
I just
Abel.
gotta be so for real, okay? Not every... If you are a singer, you should not... It's not a given that you should also act. And same with if you are an actor, not a given that you should also sing. You don't always need to be doing both, you know?
I don't know. I mean, well, it's a piece of everybody. I was saying earlier that it's one giant therapy session. So even though it's loosely based on something that's happened, everybody brought their own story to it. Trey, it's his story. Jenna brought herself to it. Barry brought himself to it. So it
Some
feels
good
like
movies. You
it's
know
all of
what?
us.
Hurry Up Tomorrow just
So
released in
true.
theaters this, wait for it,
We should do
weekend.
it. We should do a tier list. We should do a tier list one day of like best singers who became actors. Father, Son, and House of Gucci.
And it really is something. The film, clocking in at an hour and 45 minutes long, stars Barry Keoghan,
And I don't
Jenna
mean theater
Ortega, and
people.
of course
Okay, let me be clear. I don't mean like fucking theater people. Not like that. I'm talking Madonna. I'm talking Beyonce, okay? Beyonce in that one movie with Ali Larter. What was it called? Obsessed? Where she's like, you're obsessed with... Wait, what's that? What's the one... Oh my God. Beyonce line from the movie. I'm talking J-Lo. You know what I'm saying. Well, okay, wait. Yeah, Obsessed. Oh my God. What a classic. Didn't I tell you not to come to my house? Punch. Nobody touches my child. Punch. If you have not seen the Beyonce film Obsessed, here we go. Okay. Idris Elba, Beyonce, and Ali Larter. This is a classic. This is a classic film. All right? This is a must watch. Obsessed movie night when, if it is available, we will watch this.
Abel, who is playing a fictionalized version of himself. Keoghan plays his longtime
J-Lo
manager
and
Lee, and Ortega plays an obsessed
G-Lee.
fangirl turned quasi-love interest and also his metaphorical conscience. But
How
we'll
has
get
Jenna
into
had
that
such a rough string of movies? I know, I've talked about this. I don't think she's being selective enough. Or maybe she just has a different view of things. I gotta be kind of for real. I think it's like stunting her as an actor. I don't think that she is... I think she's doing so many subpar projects before she had the chance to like really show what she can do. You know? So it might get to a point where it's like, is Jenna even that great of an actor, or is this just kind of the stuff she does
later? The film serves as a companion piece to The Weeknd's latest album, also called Hurry Up Tomorrow. It was directed by Trey Edward Schultz, and I am so surprised that this thing even got a theatrical release to begin with because, well, it's kind of not a real movie. Okay, spoilers for Hurry Up Tomorrow. You are getting spoilers in 3, 2, 1. The plot revolves
Oh no,
around
if you don't want spoilers for The Weeknd's new movie, then tune out. I'm gonna grab some
character
water.
Ani, who burns her childhood home down and flees to California to attend The Weeknd's concert. Meanwhile, The Weeknd is going through a terrible, no-good breakup after his partner leaves him and sends him a voicemail in which she explains that he's a terrible person and that his mom would not be proud of him for the way that he treated her. The stress of this breakup is causing The Weeknd to be unable to sing or even function, but after encouragement from Lee, he tries to go on with his latest tour performance anyway. He basically has a breakdown on stage, and during that breakdown he makes eye contact with Ani, who then sneaks backstage to see him. The two run away and play some carnival games, and then they go to a hotel and have sex. The next morning, Abel tells Ani that he's not bringing her along on tour anymore, and she starts arguing with him, and that's where we get this brilliant scene that's going viral on social media right now.
Shut the fuck up! Shut up! What are you doing?
Wait, you guys, should I reenact this scene from my Hunger Games audition? Shut the fuck up! What are you doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
I have to go right now. I'm getting calls.
I have to go right now. I'm getting calls.
I'm on a tour.
I'm on a tour.
I'm trying to be fucking nice. You see, I'm trying to be nice right now, right? You're forcing me to be bad, but I'm actually doing a good thing. All right? So just chill the fuck out, and I gotta go.
And then she knocks him out and ties him to the bed a la Kathy Bates in Misery, but worse. Then we get this Silent Hill-esque sequence where The Weeknd is walking through these empty catacombs and there's a girl screaming at him, and then he wakes up to see that Ani has held him hostage.
Dude, it's so crazy too because I actually like this director. This is Trey Edward Schultz. Do you guys remember this movie Krisha? Did I watch this on stream? So this was his first film that he like self-funded. He had his family play the roles. It's very good. It's very, very well done. And then he also did Waves. He did It Comes at Night. And I guess this is his latest film. And it's like, bro, what?
Only agreeing to let him go if he decides to be, quote, honest with himself. What does that entail, you ask? Well, she then proceeds to play 3 of his songs, Blinding Lights included, and dances along to them while she gives a Wikipedia note summary of how deep they are and what each of them mean, proceeding to psychoanalyze him and chastise him for the ending of his relationship,
Krisha's so
and
good,
uncover
if you haven't
why
seen
the
it.
relationship ultimately failed. According to Ani,
I showed it to my mom and it triggered her so badly because she was like, this is my family. I was like, hey, I want to show you this film. And then I showed it to her and she was so triggered. Cat lady, thank you for the
still
tier 1.
isn't being honest after all of this, and so she covers him in gasoline the way she did to her house and holds a lit match over his tied up body. Eventually, he begins to sing a song that he played for her earlier in the film, and she lets him go and burns down the hotel room. This scene of him singing goes on for a really long time. You know that scene in Euphoria?
He sings her a song and that's why she lets him go? Hold on a second. How many times have I talked about that if I ever was kidnapped, that I would sing for the kidnappers and they would let me go? Like, this is my thing. This is what I truly believe. Is that I would perform a song and they'd be like, oh my God, we're so sorry for kidnapping you.
Funny enough, when Dominic Fike is like singing that song,
please forgive us,
and it kind of goes on for like a ridiculously long time.
You're
it's
incredible.
It's very much that kind of vibe. Oh, and she also kills Barry Keoghan after.
Clearly, we need The Weeknd and Abel and I need to work together on a film.
He attempts to rescue The Weeknd from captivity, which is crazy. Then at the end, we see him getting ready for another show, and that is the film. So the interesting thing about this whole situation is that this is not a movie. I mean, I'm reviewing it as a movie because it was fully released as one, but I do not understand how this was released theatrically when it could have easily just been a dedicated visual album. The Weeknd doesn't even sing that much in it, but a series of connected music videos would have been a lot more coherent than whatever this was. And the minimal defense that I've seen of this film so far is that Jenna Ortega's character isn't real. She's just a metaphor for The Weeknd's inner self-talk and dialogue, which, yes, of course she is, because her character literally is not a character. That doesn't make it a compelling or interesting or completely told story just because her character may not be real.
She dances to his songs Blinding Lights and Gasoline while analyzing their recurring themes of toxic relationships with women. And then Abel refuses to discuss the songs with her. So then Barry Keoghan shows up. And then Jenna Ortega murders him.
You want to talk about the direction of this film really quick? Because I don't think all of the blame falls on Abel here. Trey Edward Schultz directed this movie, and he also co-wrote it, I believe. And One of the things that's getting referenced in a lot of these memes, and it's just so distracting that I have to point it out, is this spin camera effect, especially during a lot of the nightclub scenes. A lot of times the camera will just randomly just sort of do this spinny rotating effect, and it's cool like the first time. And then it happens a lot more times. I just think this is one of those movies that, you know, that relies more on aesthetics than anything else. Like, that's what's supposed to be driving the emotion here, and not the actual performances or characterization. I see The Weeknd as a person who has a lot of inner turmoil, clearly is not at peace with some of the stuff that he's done in his life, and is trying to express that through his art in a really personal way. This is indicated by the fact that he's playing himself, but I don't get why he doesn't just stick to telling that story through his music, which in some ways can be a more personal art form if you're assuming that the singer is the one true reliable narrator of it all.
Yeah, that's a good point where it's like, look, you have a lot to express. You as an artist have things to say. Why are you not doing this through your music? Why are you trying to seek this other medium of which to do those things, but it's bad, but you're not succeeding in it, because film is a different medium, okay? It is not a music video. A feature-length film that you treat as a music video it's a completely different medium.
The need to hash out these feelings on screen instead of through song is just one of vanity at this point, especially because
he clearly never saw J-Lo's This Is Me, or counterpoint, he did see This Is Me and was like, oh my god, I need to do that.
Because the imagery here is so similar to The Idol. These flashy nightclub sequences, a young, impressionable girl that's obsessed with his pain, and even when he's crying or vulnerable or scared, there's an air of impenetrable masculinity about him. He's always got to look cool, be the hero. He can't actually let anyone in, which is sort of, the only way to get people to root for your character in a movie. Unless, you just stand there and say popular catchphrases from a video game in front of a green screen.
Chicken jockey. Chicken jockey.
Ultimately, what this whole series of events proves to me is that The Weeknd is genuinely very good at what he does, but he wants more credit than that. Maybe it stems from the fact that he began releasing music anonymously at the beginning of his career, but I look at the creative vision for all of his albums up until this point, and they make sense. I look at his visuals.
I think it's ego and abundance of resources, because this is stuff you can just explore without having to make a whole ass movie, and this is J-Lo. It is J-Lo, This Is Me
stunts
energy.
Like his plastic surgery prosthetics in his music video for Save Your Tears, and I go, wow, that choice is visually striking, but I don't care to know the meaning of it beyond the music.
Cinema's always for me, it's always kind of been my number one passion. And then, I happened to sing and make music, and kind of felt like a little detour that, like a little cheat code to kind of get into this, and I always wanted to make movies.
The Weeknd is sort of suffering from his own success. He makes catchy club bangers, but none of them are flawed or interesting enough for people to really care about whatever persona he's cooked up for his latest release. It was a wise poet who once said, "Y'all don't want to hear me, you just want to dance." So let's talk about the reception. Obviously, I played a couple social media videos of people clowning on this movie. In terms of the actual reception, in my theater, there were a lot of giggles, especially during these serious moments.
You mean especially during the part where Jenna Ortega is like, emotionally open up to me or I'll kill you with fire. And The Weeknd is like, okay, fine. And then starts singing a song to her. And then she's like, oh my God, I'm letting you go. And then she lets him go. And then he looks at a mirror and is like, what the fuck just happened? You mean that part? People were laughing at it?
Couldn't help but laugh at Jenna Ortega and also at The Weeknd and his acting. So I think tonally it was a bit of a miss based on what they seem to have been going for. Several people also got up and walked out and did not come back. I took note of the ones that did come back and which ones didn't. And then on the way out, some guys handed me an iPad and asked me how I felt about the movie, and I told them. Now, is all of this enough to do damage to The Weeknd's reputation and career permanently? I don't think so, and truly that's never what this series has been about anyway. But in all of the celebrities that I cover on the show, they always seem to have one thing that's really important to their brand, and whether or not they're currently obtaining that thing seems to be the mark of their success and whether or not the internet is quote-unquote in love or out of love with them. Jack Black's brand is his authenticity and his loyalty, which people questioned after throwing his bandmate Kyle Gass under the bus for a Trump assassination joke. Grimes' brand was her offbeat quirkiness shining through her genuine musical talent that got tarnished by the fact that she slept with the apartheid Emeralds guy. The Rock simply wanted to be adored until he got addicted to manufacturing his own success to the point where you can't tell what's real and what's not anymore. And The Weeknd, well, he just wants to be taken seriously. And his
okay, wait. So who had a good point here? If it's your passion, why don't you understand very basic things about screenwriting, acting, film? Yeah. It's like, look, buddy, if you want to make a film, if you want to pour your personal whatever into the medium of film, then you need to like be serious about the elements of what make a good film. And obviously Trey Edward Schultz also bears responsibility here, but who knows what the extent of The Weeknd's creative control was. I'm sure it was great because it is The Weeknd. But if you're going to make a movie, it can't just be about you because it's not going to be a good movie. It's about having well-written characters. Okay, it's not just about you, the main character. If you write very hollow, thinly sketched out characters, your film's gonna suck. It's not gonna be interesting. If it is purely a film that focuses on the aesthetics, then a lot of people are gonna go, okay, so it looked cool, I guess, but that's about it.
In his persona, in his humanity, all of it. And now, after not one but two failed attempts of doing this outside of his music, it's his worst nightmare. He's getting clowned on for being pretentious and goofy. And even if you're still releasing great music through all of that and selling out shows,
like you gotta hone your craft,
high praise
baby,
from your dedicated fan base, sometimes that's just not enough. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I know
you gotta hone your craft. If you want to get into the medium of filmmaking, then hone your craft. Get better. Work at it. You're The Weeknd, so you have the resources and the connections to get to make film. But like, work at it, you know? Work at it. Anyway, Kayla's great. Kayla's great. If you don't know Kayla Says, this is a person who I feel like when I first started watching her videos, now I'm not pulling a Helen Kwan and saying I discovered Kayla Says, but when I first started watching Kayla's videos, she had like 15,000 subscribers, and I have seen her grow on YouTube in the last year, which has been very exciting because I like a lot of what she does, and I've watched a lot of her videos here. I am, newer to YouTube, but there's like a makes my heart warm when I find someone who doesn't have a huge YouTube presence, and I'm like, oh, I like their videos. I'll watch some videos on stream, and then they have growth. They like more people discover them. I'm like, yes, you made her. Essentially, what I'm saying is, yes, I made Kayla Says in the way that my mother discovered Billie Eilish and then was very disappointed when she quote unquote sold out. When Billie Eilish sold out, even though by the time my mother discovered her, she was already a multi-Grammy winning international superstar. But I digress. Anywho. Okay, you guys, that's gonna be it. That's all I got. That's it. I know. Don't go. I gotta go. My sisters are here, and it's also so hot in this stream room that I do fear I will be passing out. I do fear I will be passing out if I don't leave. So I am gonna go have some sister time. Have fun with the girly pops. Thank you. I'm going to try to stream tomorrow. I'm not sure in what capacity. Either I might do a stream taking my sisters to Deco, or I might pop on in the morning and do a morning stream. Maybe my sisters want to come on. Mabes. We shall see. Okay. I'm going to send y'all to Wake Wilder. No, I missed Morning Kwan. You missed Morning Kwan, but I'll be back sometime. And you know what? Even though I said I hate this song, here we go. To close out the Morning Kwan stream, a little Blinding Lights by the greatest filmmaker of our age, Abel. Did I raid Wake or no? What is wrong with me? Baby. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. I'll catch you on the next one. And take care. Take care, y'all. And beep beep bop beep bo. Bop beep da beep bop bop bo.